Welcome to the Louder Tales podcast. We hope you enjoy today's show, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here's your hosts, Rainbow and Tim.
All right. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Everybody's...
Hello.
Can I say hi? All right. We have some guests here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name's Chad.
All right.
And I'm Christie.
All right. There's
an echo.
a bad echo. All right.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Chad and Christy, we have invited you over, and tell us a little bit about what you guys do so that you can inform our guests.
I personally have been running a rescue for about 20 years.
Wow. For animals.
Yes, for
yeah.
Definitely not for men. Excuse me, am I coughing?
Yeah.
But me and Chad's been together for like the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in full on. And that's it.
Right. And what do you guys do when you guys rescue? What's the first step that usually comes into your awareness when you guys help somebody out?
Well, all of our animals come from different situations. Obviously, getting the animal contained is usually number one. We always scan them for a microchip, get them straight into the vet to get them checked out, get them fully vetted, like vaccinated, spayed and neutered, microchipped if they're not. Then we kind of take some time to get to know them.
Yeah.
See what kind of personality they have, whether they like cats, dogs, kids, That way we know what home that they need to be placed in.
Right. And that takes time. That's not right away usually.
Oh, yeah, no.
How long does it usually take for...
Minimum of 30 days.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, for the animal to calm down and just kind of, for you to judge it? For you to understand?
Most of them, yeah.
Wow. That's longer than I thought.
They have a public kind of post. It's 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months kind of thing.
Okay.
3 days for them to stop being like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
To the point where 3 weeks until they start feeling comfortable and know their surroundings and know the people, to where their personality starts coming out. And then you should know that dog fully within 3 months.
Right.
But that's also the rule when they go to the new homes for most of them, because they have to readjust.
Yeah.
Everything's new to them. So just like going to a new school or a new job or new, whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody needs time to adjust. So.
How often do you usually get... Is it just cats and dogs? Do you guys ever have anything exotic animals or anything that you've had to deal with or people have tried to bring to you?
We will take pretty much everything legal to own in Kentucky. We have fosters for all different types of animals, whether it be farm animals or dogs and cats or whatnot, birds, different things. But we do help transport for broadbent wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
When they need help.
I'm trying to think of her name.
Marianne
Tomlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to take pictures out there. I guess the location that she has is pretty fantastic. But
yeah, she has over like 5,000 acres in Meade County alone.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
She runs the Old Doe Valley Inn, and so
they
owns it.
just recently bought it. They're redoing it and stuff, and that's where they do most of their eagle releases now.
Oh man, That's gotta be awesome.
That's
something I would love to.
That's public. That's something you can go watch.
I'll have to talk to him. I got I have a number to contact, but I'm not sure if it goes directly to her, assistant of hers, or whatnot. But
oh no, it's hard to talk to her.
I've heard, and
unless you know her. Like I've known her for like the last 20 years.
Oh wow.
I've groomed her dogs and stuff, and somebody that I grew up with was her main dude that helped her run the whole thing.
Yeah,
so I've known her for a long time.
You've been in Meade County for how long? Or what county are you in? If you want to disclose that?
Yeah, we are in Meade County. Like,
Okay.
I was born in Louisville, but I've been in Meade County pretty much 90% of my life. So.
Yeah. Oh, and for the people listening, go ahead and tell the name of your rescue so that they can.
Tame and Wild Things Rescue and Rehabilitation Center.
Awesome. And then you guys have a Facebook, correct?
Yes. We did have a designated Facebook to our rescue. It got hacked.
Oh, no.
So if you want to find me on Facebook, I usually just post everything on my personal stuff now because we had to delete the rescue page. So that's Christina M. Keller.
All right. And we can always put a link to that later
we'll
on.
put a link
Yeah,
up,
we can
and
link.
we're going to see if we can help them actually get a little bit, maybe a website up.
Yeah.
And all that. We'll do what we can on our end to get you out there a
Yeah,
little
that would
bit
be
more.
much appreciated.
Well,
the only thing that we really have to advertise is obviously Facebook, but petfinder.com, we list our animals on there, and they share it to like 5 or 6 different animal adoption sites. So that's where we get most of our adoptions from.
Yeah, that's nice. I know for me personally, though, when I'm looking or whatever, it's nice to be able to just go to the website, find the person that's local. Especially because you are one of the first shelters that I know of around here that takes the time. What is your process for adoption or fostering?
The very first thing, before I answer any questions about any of my animals past what has already been listed, we make them fill out an application, and it's very thorough. It asks you to talk about your life and what you want in a dog, what you're going to include the dog in, whether it's just going to stay home, who visits your home, you know, if you want to take them out in public, if you want them to be a service dog, or you want to do, you know, there's so many different reasons people want dogs, and so many different households include their dogs in different things. So, like, we ask as many questions as we possibly can. And obviously, you know, people message and they're like, oh, I want the cute ones. And we're like, that cute one is not going to be the right fit for you after we read all this stuff, you know. And so we try to pair them for success. You know, we ask as many questions and pair them with the best options, you know, and then we do meet and greets and stuff like that after we can approve them. Obviously, we check them, their vet references. We go to their home. We make sure their other animals are spayed or neutered and up to date and on preventions and stuff. And if they are uneducated in those aspects, you know, we educate them and help them get the other ones done. And then if we feel like then they're worthy, you know, then we will adopt. But
how many people have you had to turn away? Have you had to turn anyone away? I'm sure there's had to be.
I bet.
Constantly. Like just the other day, I got an email. It says, I used to do this, I used to do that. I've owned this type of dog, I've owned that type of dog. And, you know, like, I don't want to go through an application process. Like, I'm a good owner. You know?
Okay.
Like,
Is that the one you posted on Facebook?
Yes, I posted it on Facebook. And he was like, you know, we're going through some stuff and we're trying to afford this and this and this right now. So if it could be free, that would be fantastic. I'm like, first of all, you want a dog that you've never met.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah.
With no application.
With no application.
No
No
check.
checks. You don't want me to call your vet. You don't want me to call references. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
And
who are you to tell me that that's how it's going to go?
Like, what we do is not free. Like, each animal that we take in minimally costs us $350. You know, with the
phrase
vetting,
that comes to mind is trust but
supplies.
verify. You can trust that person, but you'd like to just verify just to make sure.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're all on the same page, then they can't complain and say, well, you never checked me out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, you never
nobody
checked
else
me
can.
out, or you didn't tell me this dog was like this. You know,
Right.
like, I don't want to have to take back animals that we find homes for.
Yeah.
Like, we find homes for them to be forever.
Yeah.
Not temporary.
Right.
You know, and I'm not saying that I will take every single animal back that I've ever, you know, had a hand in saving. But that's not the point in rescue. Rescue is getting them vetted and finding them forever homes that will be successful. Like, we even offer like low cost grooming, low cost training, like throughout their whole adoption, like throughout their whole period of having any of our animals in their home.
So you're literally part of the process from beginning to end. You don't just say here and walk away.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Me and Chad do it from start to finish.
That probably helps the success of the forever home a lot more, because you guys are there a lot more versus just here and then walk away. Yeah. And so that helps.
Yeah.
A lot.
Honesty is like number one. You have to tell them, this is what this dog went through. This is how far it's come. If you don't listen to me, it has, potential to regress, so like, I don't know. I'm just super honest about any of the dogs and cats and any animals that we get to make sure it's successful. Yeah. Make sure that they are willing to go further in training if needed. You know?
And put in that time. They're just not going to get them and, okay. Yeah.
Right.
So you guys are helping us right now.
Yes.
Because
with Gracie May.
We had Tim found. I'll let him tell this part of the story.
Well,
Little Macy Gray.
I was delivering mail, and I noticed at one of the locations. There's still investigation and a process to it, so I'm not going to name names or
we can't go into
get too specific.
Much detail out in the
basically,
universe.
what had happened is I noticed a dog, and it had appeared to be very, very timid, very scared. Was literally peed on the ground. As soon as I walked up to it, it was shaking and cowering, and just it laid down in a submissive pose as soon as I called it over to me. It came right up to me, but it was scared, and I could tell it was scared. The neighbor across the street said, I was wondering whose dog that was, and we did some investigating. It turns out that allegedly the people that had lived there had moved and just left the dog outside, and there's a lot of information where it points to them neglecting it.
We did some serious sleuthing.
Yeah.
He's a mailman, so you can't go too far and not know. And then, of course, because I'm here, I did sleuthing and, of course, found the evidence. And we
understand people will make
bad decisions
or quick decisions. Like, they just don't know what to do.
Well, I want to touch on that. I don't want to interrupt you, but right now in rescue, it is so bad.
Yeah, it's
every shelter is losing their no-kill status. Every rescue is beyond full and overwhelmed. The donations are low.
Yeah.
The adoptions are low, and sometimes, the local shelters are having to refuse owner surrenders because they have no space, or they'll have to euthanize.
Yeah.
And that poses a potential problem when you don't have an option to take it with you or whatever.
Yeah.
They end up abandoning them.
Yeah.
Right.
Shelters have to take strays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
it's sad, don't get me wrong, but
it's a fact
it happens.
Of life.
Yeah.
I could see that if they didn't make an attempt to try to get her into a shelter.
Right.
But from what we've gathered and the shelters that we've spoken to, they didn't even try to. But
we're working with them. And it's not like we intend to push to make them an example, but on the same note, someone does need to be held responsible.
Yeah.
And if there's a law in place, then it needs to be adhered to. And if they are, guilty of doing A, B, or C, then follow the law, follow the consequences of that. Yeah. And we're not trying to make them worse than what they are. I'm open to listen, to find out their side, of course, because it's not always black and white. Sometimes there are gray areas and people do things, but we don't know. So, but we have accepted this dog into our home as
she actually
ours.
walked in our house and said she wasn't leaving. She gave him the look, and he tells me, we're sitting there eating dinner, and he's all like, so this is going to happen. I'm like, what? He's all like, she's not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, she just brings joy and happiness and just absolute love.
You mentioned that about Cobain. I know y'all have talked about Cobain on your podcast before.
Yes.
That how much she's brought him alive.
So, in the yard, he can't see, so he just kind of does it in place.
He knows somebody's playing with him.
He plays in circles.
But they came in, I think it was today that I called you, I think. They actually played in the living room. He comes in and he'll like do on the ground, put his butt up, and he'll... And then they were actually doing that, and I went to go get my phone to take a video, and as soon as I did, they can hear... They know the tone of that button when you're hitting video or camera, and they're like, no.
Yes.
But no, she's been wonderful for Cobain. Like, she goes up to him and she loves on him. Like, last night she went and like laid her head on his leg. She cleans him. She goes and pounces on him. She's the annoying little sister. You can definitely, so I guess onto the story. Yeah, we have her. She's a puppy who's getting ready to be a mommy.
Yeah.
Scary. That's got to be scary for her.
Yes.
So much just happened to her. Her little old life was a big uproar. And people who say animals don't understand, yeah, they do. They absolutely do. And they wear their emotions very heavily, especially when they've been hurt, they've been disappointed, because they do love unconditionally.
Abandonment is very hard on them.
It is. And she picked Tim. The first thing I said to him was, animals pick their owners.
Mm-hmm. Everything happens for a reason.
It does.
I often, and it didn't dawn on me right away, but I think she actually watched me for a little bit. Because we think she was out there for a week or more, maybe a couple weeks. And if I'm out there all the time, she's kind of sneaking around, keeping an eye. Like, hey, this guy's, all right, he's petting this cat. He's
doing she knew you had traits.
She knew. Yep. She knew it was I was a safe person. So. And
then she brought him home, and she's been attached. She gets excited when he comes home.
She brought him home?
Yeah, she brought him home.
She drove.
Yeah. He brought her. My mind does it all the time. When the gray hair comes out, the sense goes out with it. It's all like everything. But she gets excited when he comes home, and she like does a little happy tinkle. But she won't leave my side. She'll say hi to him for a minute, and then she's right back where I'm at. That's where she stays.
Yeah.
If I'm in the kitchen, I can't move. I have to walk around her. Like when I was cooking dinner, her head was at my feet. Yeah. So, but she's ours. She's happy. We've watched her just for the past couple weeks go from where she was to who she is now. Like you can just...
Well, I mean, I want to say this. A lot of people say, oh, it's how they're raised, it's how they are. That is completely not true. Yes, it does contribute to their personality and stuff, but they are creatures that live in the moment. I have taken some of the absolute dogs in the worst conditions, mentally, physically. I'm talking like killing cats, trying to attack other dogs, like biting at people, to turning them around to being the absolute best animals that you could ever come in contact with.
I love hearing that.
Yeah. So I want to mention, like, Chad's in the Navy, and you're prior military too. What'd you say? What?
I was Army.
Army.
Yeah.
Prior Navy.
Prior Navy. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Once you're in, you're always in.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, true.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Yes.
But we have taken several rehab cases and placed them with veterans.
Oh, wow.
I want to send you guys a link about a dog that we call Omega. He was a dog that was bought from a breeder with his brother to a family, and they were not very shepherd people, and he ended up slowly taking over the house. He became very dominant, and when they become dominant towards the other animals, then it keeps progressing to where he was trying to dominate the woman in the house.
Oh my.
Preventing her from walking places, touching him whenever he didn't want to be touched, like going to the vet, he was freaking out. I mean, they tried so many things. I don't want to put this family down.
Right.
They tried everything. They tried medication, they tried training, they tried everything that was suggested to him. And it got to the point where he was attacking the brother, the dog brother, to the point where he almost killed him.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And the wife of the home was so fearful that she would not be in the same house as him. It was like, you've got to get him out.
Yeah.
So working with the vet that we did, they had given us a ring and kind of told us the situation. And of course, I was full, like always, but I was like, yeah, I'll check him out. I'll check him out. I was like, I cannot make y'all any promises because not all dogs are rehabable. For a straight month after taking this dog, he literally tried to rip our throats out.
Wow.
Like, he was so fear aggressive that he would just tremble and just, At the time, my buddy was like over there helping us build a pig house. And of course, the whole time we had to kennel him outside because there was no way to get him in and out because we couldn't even touch him. We literally had to like dump food over
and then
for
run.
the first couple of weeks. It was bad.
Like a lion's cage.
Oh, yeah.
Very bad.
Jeez.
But the whole time that he was building this house for us, like, Omega just would not shut up. Like, he was like, rah, 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 rah.
Wow.
And he just kept walking by him. He's like, okay, dude, we're going to be friends before I'm done with this pig house.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, whatever, I know what you're going through. And, like, they instantly kind of bonded between him and a couple other volunteers that we had. We realized that Omega liked to catch balls. And, every dog is different. So they're either food motivated or toy motivated, whatever. So anything we threw over at him, he would try to catch. And so everybody that walked by had tennis balls. They would just like,
okay,
and just ignore all of his ridiculous behavior. And he, over time, a couple of weeks, he calmed down, and then we were able to get him out. And then within a week of actually getting him out of the kennel, he was the biggest baby ever.
Aww.
He just needed to be loved right.
Yeah, he
that's all it was.
He needed structure. He needed somebody that wasn't afraid of him.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a lot of intense training after we got our hands on him.
Yeah.
But today, he is that veteran's service dog.
Nice.
He goes to work with him. He goes to, like, the parks with him, like, everywhere. He goes everywhere, and he's so spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's a good
Spoiled.
story.
He's
I
a
like that.
120-pound white German Shepherd.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I want to send you guys some links to our
Yeah.
Facebook about Omega. There's I think I repost him literally every year because it's such a beautiful story. And that's like one of the only rehabs that I have done from start to finish on gotten videos and stuff of where we started to where he is now. So
Yeah. We good?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just trying
Just
to remember
checking.
what it was where I can pull up the screen and pull something up online, but I forgot which one it was. So
Yeah.
you can show me at break.
Yeah. So.
Well, and that's the thing too. I was going to say while you were talking, with the rescue and stuff, but people, when you buy from a breeder, that's the difference between a rescue, a shelter, and a breeder. There's three differences there, and the rescue part of it is we get to understand and know the dogs before they go to a home. The shelter, they get full, they want to turn them out. Yeah, they may know the temperament of the dog, but they don't know the dog.
Right. Yeah.
In a shelter, you're never going to see the true dog.
Right, because they're in a cage. They're not,
Right.
You're not interacting with them. They're, food, water, go. And that's...
In a breeder, you definitely don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, they're just
You
money.
could get
most
this
of the
cute,
time.
and every puppy's cute. But when it gets to be an adult, and like she said, it doesn't matter. They say, oh, it was how it was raised. It was how, no, but that's what I was going to say about, adopting from a rescue is we take the time to know the dog, know what its background, or we may not know what its background is, but we can kind of get a feel for it.
Right.
And, she's really good at, she can pick, the temperament of a dog like that, she's been doing it for over 20 years,
Like
she
a
works
dog
full-time
whisperer.
for the rescue. I'd work a full-time job. So when I come home, I'm picking up, things. But
this poor man works a full-time job and then comes home and works a full-time job.
He
and then when we go to bed, he works a full-time job.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to mind it. He's still doing it. So it's somebody's.
In my defense, I warned him.
She has not read the fine print when she married me. So
no, every day I'm all like, "Where was that?"
I'm the type of person
glass?
that walks up and says, "Warning label."
Yeah,
warning label. Put it all out there.
Right.
Can't tell you.
Yeah, I'm freaking crazy too. So there's that. I'm just. Yeah, I've learned to tone it down. The older I get, I'm too freaking old to act. My body won't let me act crazy. My mind hurts. My brain hurts when I try to.
So you mostly get cats and dogs. Now, what other animals have you received?
Horses, pigs, exotic birds, fish, turtles, snakes.
Wow. Like how hard is it to care
sugar
for
gliders,
a fish?
ferrets. Hamsters, rabbits, pretty much everything.
Wow.
So Maya and Ray are snake people. They love snakes. They got a corn snake. His name was Keyshawn, and that's exactly how she said it. Keyshawn. And then Coconut was their ball python, but they had to get rid of him because he had to move up here. So. But they are, now that it's just him and Maya, they can get another snake. So keep that in mind.
All right.
And you also have an Amazon page where people can donate things?
Yes. We do Amazon wish list. We do Chewy wish list. We also have links straight to our vet, so people can donate straight to our vet account.
Because some people will probably be like, look, I don't know about giving people money, but do you have more success when you say, give it straight to the vet? We don't want your money. We just want, or to Amazon, buy these things and these people get it. Mm-hmm.
Every situation is different, but the very last thing I ever put on my post is if you have monetary donations that you want to send to us, we always post our receipts on where all the money goes. Just like here recently, somebody needed help with their cat. They were uneducated. Yeah. They had a boy and a girl cat that were like 5-6 months old. Didn't realize that they could mate already.
Oh my gosh.
She got pregnant. The kitten got stuck in the birth canal.
She was too tiny.
Yeah, and so we had to raise money really quickly.
Oh wow!
To get this little cat emergency C-section, and of course, people that know me, like, here, you can take my money, get that cat in there,
Right.
But still, even though they know where it was going,
right.
I posted the transaction from my bank, the estimate and the bill, and proof of the surgery. I always am very, very transparent.
Right.
On where the money goes. But like I said, that's the last thing I ever ask for unless it's a dire emergency and they don't have time to call it into the vet or whatnot. Like, hey, we need the supplies right now. Like, or gas money,
Right.
for big transports, because we do transports all across the U.S.
Oh, wow. Wow.
To
I didn't
help
even think
other
about that.
rescues and stuff. So, yeah.
So you are really active in the rescue family.
Yes.
As far as the
we
U.S.
do TNR too, which is trap, neuter, and return, where we trap community cats, get them altered and vaccinated, and then if they are feral, we put them back where they're used to being because they have caretakers, they know that area and stuff. If you ever try to relocate cats to
I know
other
place where they're all
places, that can be bad. But
I have a mailman rule. I'll get these people and they're like, I'll be like, hey, is this your cat? And they're like, no, it's not my cat, but I feed it. I'm like, then it's your cat.
But I feed it.
It's your
Then
cat.
it's your
If you feed
cat.
it,
It's
it shows
not
up, it's
leaving.
yours.
right.
Something a lot of people don't know this, and I already know that you have to know this. Every cat in Kentucky is required to have vaccination from rabies, even if it is an outdoor cat.
Yes. I am not sure if that is a state law.
I thought it was. I could look that up.
It could be a county law.
It's that for cats is not as mandated as dogs are. By law, dogs have to have the rabies.
Yeah.
But community cats and cats that you feed outside, stuff like that, they're in Meade County, I know for sure. It's not mandatory. They have no laws for cats. Like, if your neighbor's cat wandered in your yard, you can straight and do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
Well, it says here, Title 902, Chapter 2, Registration 070, and then it gives all the stuff. Section 1, and it says vaccination schedule. Vaccination schedule for all dogs, cats, ferrets shall be established in this section, except as provided in paragraph B of this subsection. All dogs, cats, and ferrets shall be vaccinated against rabies by a veterinarian holding a valid Kentucky license. So there it is.
That
yes, but
might just-
for them to prove that it's your cat, if it's
Yeah.
an outdoor cat,
Oh, yeah.
they cannot.
Right.
Obviously, if
Yeah.
like animal control showed up and you have cats in your house,
Right.
they can be like, you need to have them.
Yeah, I'm not
them
saying for
vaccinated,
the I'm not
but-
saying for the old
yeah.
ladies that are like, oh, it's not my cat, but I feed it. Lady, get
Right,
it vaccinated.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to make sure that they are, because if you are taking care of a cat outside, maybe you could do a little bit more to make sure it's safe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Our cats are vaccinated. So we have one, I call her our inside otter. She's so fat. She likes to hear the jingle, I think, because you can hear ding, ding. And our other one is stealth. You can't hear them at all.
Yeah, same bell on both cats,
Yeah.
and the one is super
Well, Liza
stealthy.
has more tags because she's had the collar longer. Or no, they both have the same tags.
I thought, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they do. I had to think for a moment. He has the
Careful.
bow tie. That's why it's quieter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
But a lot of the kittens from the feral colonies we take in, because we have such a high rate number of cats that get euthanized in our shelter and community cats, we try to lessen the number of cats that are outdoors by taking in the kittens and rehabbing them to place them in homes. If they're over 4 months, you can forget it. They're going back out, because they're so past
They're
the
too feral,
point. Yeah. But anything younger than that, as long as they're weaned from their moms, we take in and get fully vetted and placed into homes. But yeah, we do that every week. We have 10 slots where we go out and trap 10 cats.
Okay.
Wow.
And spay and neuter them and then put them back. Whether they're owned or whatever, as long as they're outdoor animals,
take 'em.
then we will take them. Yeah.
boy, I can
Nice.
tell you where
I was
the
going to tell you,
gold
he can
mines
tell
are.
you right where to go.
That's where we got Liza. She got our heart, and she says, "Go back and get it." I was like, "Nope, too late. I already put the mail in the box and left."
I have a picture of him coming home, and she's laying across his hat. That's how she rode home on the car ride.
Yeah.
She is his cat. She's the one he rescued, or he's the one who rescued her. Actually, she rescued him, probably.
So Meade County has pins that helps with paying for spay and neuters. And then Hardin County has a fantastic program for TNR2. But they also have other rescues and stuff that help pay for community cats too.
Now, if people, if people know of a stray cat, can they bring them themselves to get it done, or do they have to call someone like you to have you come and get and do the trap? And
so Hardin County, you can take them to the shelter. They will, if they're unfriendly, they will alter them and put them back instead of euthanizing how it used to be. So it that will happen automatically. They don't euthanize anymore like that because it was such a high number that they were having to do so. Same way with Meade County now. Have new people in the shelter there that are trying to advance everything that has to do with the shelter. They're trying to be a no-kill shelter.
Right.
They're trying to get a bigger shelter built. So you can take them to the local shelters now. They'll fix them and then put them out. And
it doesn't cost any, like for if you say it's a stray, it's not going to cost that person any money?
No. No. All strays are done for free through their grants and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, that is good.
Yeah. Now, if it is your owned cat that you keep outside, they do ask you to trap it yourself and bring it to an appointment, stuff like that. Sometimes, like if they're indoors, they have a low-cost spay and neuter clinic in Hardin County.
Okay.
Through Focus, which is Friends for Hardin County Animal Shelter.
Now let's stress how important it is for people with outdoor cats, even if they don't claim them. You know, the whole it's not mine, but I feed it. Right? How quick and how many cats are we talking? Let's say 5 cats outside if they're female.
Kittens can get pregnant at 4 months old.
4 months. And how many would they usually have in a litter?
Well, when they're younger, it's usually 3 to 4. But by a year old, they can have up to 10.
Right. And how long does it take from start to finish before they have the kittens?
About 60 days.
60 days.
Yeah.
So you could turn around and have, you could...
Every 60 days, they could have 10 kittens.
So in 2 months, there's 10 kittens. So folks, if you see a cat and it's if you're feeding it, if it's friendly, we're not saying you have to do anything negative. Just get it fixed so that you're not looking at 20 cats in 4 months.
Yeah. And the more that they breed and the more that's around, the big reason we take the kittens, about 99% of the kittens get killed, from birds of prey or dogs or, not ferrets, but minks,
Oh, wow.
even raccoons, stuff like that, or illnesses. Once you get so many cats together, if one gets something, they're all getting it.
Yeah.
And those babies, they don't have an immune system.
Right.
So they're the first ones to get sick and die. And worms, worms
Yeah.
come from everywhere. We've out trapping, we have picked up so many babies that have just literally been eaten alive by maggots, and they're still alive,
It's so sad.
And that's not to mention the inbreeding too.
Yeah, the inbreeding.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They come
that's
out
true.
deformed and
Yeah, that's horrible. That's the one thing about cats. If you have a lot of them and they're not fixed, you're just...
like, I don't care what county you're in. If you need help with cats, please contact us because I want to send you guys that too to post up, but... Vine Grove Animal Refuge Center took the time to figure out just about every available spay and neuter clinic for community cats and put it on one paper.
Okay. Wow.
So we post that constantly.
Nice.
Okay, and
for people. So that would be a good link.
Yeah,
to put
I'll
up.
put that on our website and also put it on our Facebook and stuff as well for our readers.
Yeah.
That
And,
way,
and
our
that's the thing,
listeners,
the
readers.
resources are available for people, It used to not be like that. But now today, there's so many that
There's something out
it's
there
right
for
there at your
somebody.
fingertips.
Yeah.
But still,
a lot
if
of
you
people
have-
don't know that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have the ability to donate or to help out, please do so. These cats and dogs, they're outside. How would you like it if you were outside? I wouldn't.
No.
I would not like it.
Yeah.
You know.
outside
Well, and then
with
you
no food,
you get the
no.
people that I don't like cats climbing on my vehicles, but you've got 12 of them out there and you're not
Okay.
fixing them, and
Yeah.
or it goes up in the engine, and
Yeah.
now you've got
Now you
Spaying and
have-
neutering cuts down on the amount,
Yep.
the sicknesses, the getting
Cats.
in your trash.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
You know,
Alley cats.
right?
Well,
Fighting.
It
all
also
of that
cuts
stuff.
down on people bringing animals back to the shelter. It allows for more room. So why do you think what do you think the influx of all the animals in shelters and stuff is right now, or has been in the past? Yeah, the
like
influx.
why it's gone up so much. The economy,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, we had COVID.
Yeah.
Where everybody wanted to adopt dogs because they
were
were home,
lonely.
and then after COVID,
I
these
don't
dogs
time
have
for it.
separation anxiety, because they were home with them all the time, and then
Yeah.
now they're not. So then you had a bunch of families like, oh God, I can't deal with this anymore. Don't have time, and then there's several people being homeless from that.
Oh, there's so many people.
And then, jobs and just, it's just created havoc.
Yeah.
What is it, 2 years now since COVID, right?
Since we
4.
Yeah.
It started in
Is it
2020.
2020.
Yeah, it
Four
started in
years?
January
Well,
of
we're still
2020.
suffering from it, I
still
believe.
lingering.
Well, if
Yeah.
you think about it, the name COVID-19, it actually started in December, was it October, November-ish
October
of
19. Yep.
Yeah.
2019 in China.
In
Well,
China.
yeah,
Are we
it
allowed to say
started
that?
then, but
It
when
says
did
that.
we start going back to work and all that stuff after?
I'm still not back.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I think it's been about 2 years
Yeah.
since we've all kind of
Yeah,
slowly
that's
gone
what
back.
I
Yeah.
meant.
Okay.
But like, there's
But yeah.
it's still causing homelessness.
Yeah.
Like people used all their savings, all of this, all of that.
That's wild.
So, honestly, there's not just one thing that's contributed
It's
to it.
a lot
Yeah.
put in the basket causing it.
Yeah.
What is the craziest rescue case that you guys have had? I'm sure you've had a lot.
Oh.
I know the one day that you and I, when I reached out to you, you had a hoarding case. I've seen those on TV.
Yes.
Maya watches those with me.
Yeah.
The
So
SPCA commercials.
yes.
Yep.
there's been worse hoarding cases, but ones that I can say I personally took pictures with and have a lot of information on is the Grundy County, Tennessee case. It started out as a breeder trying to make mini Aussies. She was mixing them with like Yorkies and healers and mini healers, but anyways, it turned into a hoarding situation, and then people, dumped animals out there too because she had dogs, and like, this person will feed it. She ended up kind of going mental, and there were over 650 animals on this property that was maybe an acre and a half.
What?
Yeah.
What?
There were more deceased animals than there was live. It was nothing but mud and bones on this whole property, inside, outside. There were trash cans full of dead dogs. There were feces like 3 foot inside the house.
We should have put a
Dead-
warning.
Dead, yeah, sorry.
This is pretty crazy.
Recently deceased dogs, like their carcasses and stuff, where the dogs were eating the other dogs. There were dogs having babies out in the freezing weather.
Oh my gosh.
I personally took 56, I believe, from this property. I transferred 30 of them up to Canine Collective in Ohio, and I kept about 20 something. I don't know exact numbers.
Man.
It's been a few years, but
That's insane.
It was bad. We were out there in like 0-degree weather. There was snow on the ground. We were out there trying to trap all these dogs, and they were feral. I mean, feral. The only person they had ever seen.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that 0-degree
owner.
weather may have helped a little bit on
Make them
some
a
of
little bit more feral.
the odor
No.
and.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
She's like, no, I didn't.
No, they were worked up. We had
Yeah.
to use traps to get a lot of them. It was just trapping dog after dog after dog after dog. You know, but I do want to say this. In one day, we had so many rescues there. To take them all, we got about 95% of them in one day. And then, you know, like over the next week, the really feral ones that ran off came back. So we had some other rescues.
Did this person call for help,
continuously.
or did someone report them, or how did it start?
Well, the thing is, this person had been reported for years, but their county did not have a shelter. They didn't have any resources or numbers to contact to get help.
Wow.
And then,
It could have been taken. It never.
They
would've
didn't
hit
know
this
the
point.
right people to contact. Now, this, I will say, since we did that that case, they have gotten a shelter there now.
Squeaky wheel gets the oil, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
We need
it
to
has come
put those
that.
numbers
Yeah,
on
that's
milk
sad.
cartons like they used to, the missing people's as information to, you know, for rescues and shelters and, you know, numbers to call if things get out of control. It seems to.
Yeah,
'Cause
and I can provide y'all links to that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was all over the news. It was all over
Wow.
Facebook. All you got to do is type in Grundy County, Tennessee.
When was this?
hoarding case? It's 3 years ago.
I want to say, I think
think it
I
was 3 years
actually
ago.
read about that on the news because I don't watch news. I read about it. But I want to.
Yeah,
And I
it was
think I told
everywhere. I think
you.
it went to national news because
Yeah.
the person, the overseeing rescue is a national rescue called Guardians of Rescue.
Yeah, I think it's.
I will say that she was, regardless of her mental state, was going to be prosecuted for every single count. Like, we even went back and started collecting all the skulls.
Wow.
We have pictures of a picnic table full of skulls, buckets full of skulls,
Oh my
trash
goodness.
cans full of skulls, to count every single animal to charge her against.
Yeah, because at some point she could have at least called, you know, 911 and said, "I need help. I've lost control and I don't know how to get it back."
Hunters would throw carcasses of deer out to help feed those dogs.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why they went feral, and they just weren't getting any attention. But you know what? Shame on the people who were just dumping dogs on her property too.
Yeah.
That wasn't solely her fault. There were other people that need to be held accountable for that too. But unfortunately, you can't prove those people.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and that's where things.
So not only do you have a multitude of things contributing to the problem, but a multitude of
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was no
It's-
resources, lack of education.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
I think that's the biggest thing is the lack of education.
Absolutely.
yeah.
for
If people
a
don't
lot
know,
of this.
Yep.
yeah.
Like-
and I mean, this house,
Yep.
it was one of the most beautiful log cabins I'd ever seen in my life. Like, it was massive and beautiful in
And
pictures.
then you opened the door.
No, well, I mean, not when we got there
Yeah.
to do it, but like you could see prior pictures posted of this house, you know, and it was beautiful, but
Oh man.
it was awful when we went there.
Yeah, well, I thank you guys definitely for everything that you do. And again, we always stray off you're helping us. You're helping us with Gracie May and her situation. She sure is happy now though.
oh yeah,
Sleeping
definitely.
Yeah. So, you're going to be helping us with getting the sonogram and
The ultrasound,
Yeah.
making sure everything looks good.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get a count so we could prepare.
I know.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for. I was like, okay, I'll take you home.
Yeah.
But
We do have a wish list up for Gracie May. Everything that
we already got something. I can't believe we got
possibly
something
need.
like right away. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
whoever. I don't know.
It's the bowls.
Yeah,
They're
we
on
have the name on
island.
there. If you're listening, thank you so much. Even just a little bit helps. It really does.
Yeah, I want to do an episode once we get everything that I can go through and let
Yeah, we want to try
Call
and get
people out,
pictures
yeah.
like we were talking about earlier. If we can get, I've got a history of taking photographs of things where I'm able to have a vision of what I want, and I can usually get it. It's someone said it to me, or I remember reading it or hearing it somewhere. They call it the art of noticing.
Yeah.
And I'll see something and I'll be like, ooh, I can use this camera with this lens, with this filter, with this and that.
I
And
have
then
an
can
idea.
get- Yeah. And
Gracie.
so I end up taking pictures. But
She definitely needs pictures taken while she's pregnant.
Yes.
What do you
The
call it?
little tutu on
yeah.
her, have her sitting there with her little
Yeah,
pregnant belly and her little pink
There you go,
tutu
Tim.
off.
yep.
Yeah.
Get the old air hose.
Yes.
This is how it happens, folks.
Well, he does call her his pretty princess.
Yep.
She really is. Especially now that she knows she
Birth
can.
announcement. That's what I was
Yes.
trying.
Oh,
We
there we
definitely
go.
need to do a
Yes,
birth
birth
announcement.
announcement.
Like whenever we do the ultrasound, and do
It's 4.
yeah.
Hope it's not 11. I swear
Yeah.
I feel an extra one trying to grow. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I feel an extra nipple. He's like, what's that mean? I'm all like, that means there's gonna be one. How do I know this? Because I had a dog. I had an Australian Shepherd, and she was notorious for having 11 puppy litters.
Why don't you tell them about the animal that you brought home that you thought was one thing?
Oh,
yeah. I'll
so
let you tell that story. This is good. Buckle up.
yeah, so I was notorious for bringing home strays and rescuing them as well. We lived out in the country, and my mom and I had just moved out. We actually moved down the road, and I'm riding my bicycle. And
And you
I
were
see the
30. No, I'm just kidding.
I was 39. No.
Riding a bicycle.
I was riding.
Y'all
And
making me cough so much.
I saw
Sorry, guys.
the grass rough, I'm like, because I was nosy. I was probably not a great child. I was into everything is actually what it was. I was very adventurous. So I get off and I go and look, and there's this little bitty kitty kitten. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cute. So I take it home, and this kitten's getting bigger. She doesn't meow, but she makes clicking noises. And she has this little, it's not a growl, but it's a kind of noise. And she loved, when I took a bath, I would have to shut my bathroom door, because if I didn't, she was sitting in my bathtub. And then her and my dog, whenever someone knocked on the door, she'd be right there with my dog. I'm all like, what is going on?
Was it
And
a
she
little
was,
bobcat?
yeah.
I already knew. You said loved water and liked to growl.
Yeah. And the way we found that out is my mom accidentally ran over her. So we had to take her to the vet. And it saw that the vet's all like, do you know what kind of cat this is? I'm all like,
It's a cat.
it's a cat?
A house
It's a big
cat.
one. Does she meow or anything? I'm like, no, but she makes this little clicking noise. She's never meowed, no, but she makes a clicking noise.
We got news for your house. You might want to get somebody to construction, because you're gonna.
Yeah.
She was a good cat. She didn't tear up anything. She was a lap kitty. I literally got her when she was probably that big. And mind you, I was only that big. So if she was that big then.
What was her name?
She was rotten. Eliza. Yeah, Eliza. Yes, I loved my Eliza.
Have you ever gotten a bobcat?
Yes, we actually
Wow.
was bottle feeding one. And we were like, this is a really cute cat, but it doesn't look like a house cat. You know, she had the little tips on
Yeah,
and she was a baby still, so she had the little tips on her ears. She had the bobtail, of course.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, if you make it, you know, because she came in real sick and real tiny and just, she was in awful shape. I was pretty sure she was a little bobcat, but we tried to help her. We took her to the vet, you know, and did everything we could for her, but she ended up passing away on us, which really sucked. But I was pretty excited, even though, you know, eventually I would have had to take her to Broadway.
Right, yeah, of course.
They're kind of neat until you have them next to your dog at some point. They're standing taller than your dog. I mean, they don't really get that big. I think she got maybe that big. That's it. But she was bigger than all my other cats.
I've read stories about people that
Maine Coons can be bigger
they
than
take a bear home or something, and they got the bear, and they're like, yeah, my dog is getting bigger. That's because it's a bear.
Right? Hi, can I pet that dog?
No.
Go ahead. If he'll let you. Yeah.
Right.
I swear I'll die by saying, hey, can I pet that?
Yeah.
You're kitty.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, are there any animals that you're afraid of? Like anything that you have a natural fear of? Or that you're just more cautious? What do you think?
No. When it comes to animals, I'm pretty balls to the wall.
Wow.
You know, like, just jump right in and do what I got to do.
I bet they know, they probably sense that feeling like you're there to help.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big insect person. I'm like, oh my God, I can't see its mouth. You know, like if I can see its mouth, I can control its mouth. If I can't see its mouth, kind of freaks me out. Actually, you know what? Let me back up. Call me out.
I was getting
I
ready
know
to
you're
call you
about to. Go ahead, say it out loud.
I saw him.
Ticks.
I
have been in the trenches and I have been bit by so many ticks. I have Rocky Mountain spotted fever and Lyme's disease, which both affect everything in my body.
Wow.
Like there's days that I cannot even get out of bed.
Are you okay
that
with what I made for dinner? Guess I should have asked that.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
so there's when you have Lyme's disease, not everybody has the red meat thing.
Okay. Lucky you.
That's just a certain bacteria that you have in your body that reacts to it. Now, I cannot have a lot of anything red.
Yeah.
You know, like whether it's tomatoes or red Kool-Aid or red meat or red, you know, whatever. Yeah. I can't have a lot of it, but in moderations, it doesn't really affect me too bad. Not like it. That's called alpha-gal, by the way. I don't have a high number of it.
Okay.
I do have it, but it's not like definitely. It makes me definitely ill, but it gives me really bad heartburn and stomach cramps and stuff.
I have Prilosec. If you need some.
Yeah. it usually
doesn't. It usually doesn't. Maybe I should.
Usually doesn't hinder me until like I'm going to lay down or you know. Ask him. I literally sleep sitting up most of the time because
next time
I don't
dinner,
listen to my
I'm
body.
Dinner
now you guys did say that you've had people turn in birds of prey, or they go through you to end up in Broadbent.
If anybody calls us with wildlife, we always agree to transfer or help Broadbent go get it, and you know, and we take it to Broadbent. But exotic birds, you know, like macaws and African gray parrots and stuff like that, I adore them. They're my favorite. Yeah. If I ever get them in, I would probably give them. If they were like social, you know, like because I have to.
They're beautiful birds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they're smart.
They're intelligent. Cool. Yeah. They're loud though. Yeah. They are very loud and very messy. And
I think I read a story about a lady or a guy that had one, and the bird was like mimicking a lady crying for help, and the police showed up, and they're like,
there's one on Facebook where this African gray has mastered the crying baby, and he goes through the airport, and he's like freaking everybody out. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But
it's funny.
My friend has one and she has a couple of dogs, and you would swear that it was one of their dogs barking. You know, they can literally mimic anything.
I had my cousin is a master falconer, and when I was, let's see, it was in, I'm trying to think what year it was, 2006, 2000.
That was before my time.
Yeah, it was way a while ago. My cousin said, "Hey, do you want to go hunting?" And I said, "I've never hunted before, but okay." And she was like, "Well, your cousin has a falcon," and I was like, "Okay, like what does that have to do with anything?" You know, it didn't make sense to me.
Right.
And so when I met my cousin, I was like, "Hey, so we're gonna go hunting. What are we hunting for?" And he was like, "Rabbits." And I was like, "All right, what are we using? Gun or a rifle or
The bird.
the bow and arrow?" And he's like, "A falcon." I'm like, "I don't understand. Do you,
Is that a type of gun?
like how, yeah, what is that? That doesn't make sense to me."
Shotgunner.
Blew my mind. I was like, "Wait a minute, you're just gonna let this bird go and it's just gonna fly around and you're gonna call it, it's gonna come back?" I mean, like, this doesn't make sense. This is a scam. There's no way this is really. He did it. He had this, Otis was his falcon's name, and he'd let it go and it would sit up on top of the telephone pole. I remember vividly going down to the border of Tijuana in Mexico near San Diego, and I remember seeing that huge Mexican flag at the airport or whatever that building was.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking bigger than the U.S. flag over at the Big M Chevy in Radcliffe, and it was huge, and it was just this huge Mexican flag, and it was just waving. I was like, "Man, we are like right here. What happens if it like lands over there?" And then he's like, "No, it'll come back." I was like, "All right." So this is prior me going into the military, so I was definitely not in shape to run any more than 10 seconds. And he would take a stick and he'd run through the field that he was at, and he'd scare up a rabbit, and then Otis would come down and get the rabbit. He'd run up to it, break the rabbit's neck, take a little piece of meat, give it to the bird. Bird would go back up. That's one. Okay. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what just happened?
Yeah. Birds are extremely intelligent. Like they bond to their people.
Yeah.
Like they bond to their mates. You
Yeah.
know, birds. Most birds mate for life. You know, and not that they're mating with us, but they see us as their. We
had one that liked to, Captain Chatterbox.
Yep.
He used to like to my ring, his ring.
I took a photo of a bald eagle.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it here.
He actually broke his neck in his cage. I woke up one morning because he would, do, and then he'd fly up to the top of the cage after he was done. And
wow, yeah.
I guess
That's a
he
good
hit it
picture.
too hard and he broke his neck.
So
That is.
this
Was
one.
that the?
Yeah, I don't know. People aren't going to be able to see it on the screen, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of safety precautions you have to take with birds. Like, I used to have a blue and gold macaw that I adopted, and oh god, he was our best friend. We would literally take him everywhere, but he had somehow got his toe stuck in a part of his cage, and it cut his toenail in half, and it was where the quick is in his toenail, and he literally bled out overnight from an injury to his foot.
Yeah, they bleed really easily. It's I think around their beaks, if there's any kind of bleeding, and then on their
and they will literally try to eat anything. Like they will chew through drywall. They will play with plastic. I mean, they love to rip things up. But you got to watch them very closely when you have birds, because
they don't like to be cooped up. If you have them cooped up, they're going to try to eat through.
Yeah.
So that's just how that goes. I don't know what he's looking up over there.
I'm trying to get something.
Oh, by the way, I remember the name of what you were going to name your friend Crow. Your crow friend.
Yeah.
Louis Sanchez.
Yeah, Louis Sanchez. I'm trying to catch it. Well, not catch, but I'm trying to befriend a crow because I've heard that they are smart. I mean, I know they're smart.
Intelligent.
But I want to try and be friends with one just because
He wants
it sounds like a fun challenge. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I bought a bunch of crushed walnuts because crows, I've read, like walnuts the most. I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I get walnuts, and I got one. I showed her the video. I was in the mail truck, and I could hear them. They're all like, ah, they're like probably
Do that one
joking
more.
about me.
What's
Huh?
that noise?
Nope.
Do
That's
it one more time.
One time.
Caw,
Caw. And so I'm sitting in the mail truck, and I open the door real slow, and I just kind of threw a piece out, and then I just sat there, and I grabbed my phone real slowly. I'm like, don't look over here, and I grabbed it, and I'm like, record.
He's like not breathing.
And the bird was like, I'm gonna go a little bit closer. I'm gonna come over here, and then it got real close. I mean, it like went down. It was like, yep, that's food. And then I was like, oh, come on. But and that was it. That was the only time. And I was like, come on, this is the moment. And I was like, no, it didn't happen. So
you should watch like crow videos. They are one of the most
smart.
intelligent birds. Like they actually use tools to get to things.
Yep.
You know, like say you have a cup of water and they can't stick their head or beak down. They'll pick up rocks. They'll pick up anything to make the water like come up to where they can drink it. Like it's crazy.
I'm afraid that if he brings Crow home, he's going to eventually work it into the house.
I've seen, I think there was one guy, it must have been on TV years ago, and I think he owned a coin laundromat car wash thing, and apparently the crow had figured out how to get in and get coins and was taking off. Like, he's missing money and he can't figure it out, and all of a sudden, oh, it's a bird. It's like stealing my money. It's like, oh, well, there's your thief. You know, but they are smart.
Birds do like shiny things.
Yes.
That's what they said. They said if you have a little shiny, like if you take something shiny and then you put walnuts there and then it does that, eventually, if you take the shiny thing away and still put food, they will replace it with something else shiny. So it could be somebody's car keys.
They have a photo.
It could be anything.
Most birds have, if not all, have photographic memories. So something that they're used to, they will keep doing as habits.
I've heard about guys that have like, they've helped a bird and then the bird like pesters them and attacks them, and like it's their way of saying thank you, but they're, you know, the one guy, he's like, yeah, every time I go from my house to my car, the bird attacks me, and there's video of it, and I'm just like, wow, it's kind of, you know, it's neat that the bird remembers that person, but it's that person thinks it's annoying,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Just needs to like put a perch on his shoulder. That way the bird just lands. It might be all at once. Just put your arm out.
That'd be all right. I'm just trying to, Louis Sanchez, that's going to be his name.
Yeah. He was trying to remember the name. We actually both were, and I remembered it the other day, Louis Sanchez.
Yep.
Because we need another critter in our house. We went from having a bird and a dog to now we have 3 gliders, 2 cats, 2 dogs.
So I got the bird in Hawaii, and it was because I was
Captain Chad.
bored, I guess. I was on the internet, and I was like, oh, my God, babe, look, check this out. Somebody on Craigslist wants to get rid of a bird. And she's like, why do you want a bird? I was like, it's Friday.
He's like
I'm not doing anything this weekend. Let's get a bird. So we went and met the person and like paid him like $50 or whatever for the cage and all the stuff. And I was like, all right, we got a bird. So Captain Chatterbox. And
we brought him here with us.
Yeah, that irritated me because, you know, of course we have to bring him on the plane. You know what they required for me to go from Hawaii to here? They required a flight certificate.
Yeah.
For a bird. I was like,
a bird. Yeah.
That's what they do.
For pretty much any animal crossing any state lines, you have to have a health certificate.
Yeah.
Or flight certificate or whatever. Transport certificate.
But I was like, what are you going to do? I mean, seriously, like the bird's fine. Like you can check it out. You can see it. But like they wanted me to go to an aviarian.
Yeah, they just wanted to make sure he didn't have like
that's what it is. Bird vet.
Aviarian.
And so I went there and I was like, look, I'm paying a lot of money. I better see a tiny stethoscope for you to listen to his tiny heartbeat.
Right. Yeah.
But it's pretty cool.
He is a big one.
Yeah. I was like,
He's bigger than him. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think, you know, there's different sicknesses all over the world. You know,
True.
If perhaps, you know, it was sick without symptoms, you know, and got it up here and started showing symptoms, you can bring sicknesses here that have never been introduced. Yeah.
Coming from Hawaii, where when you take anything over there, you have to have it quarantined if you haven't done what you needed to over here.
Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's only fair that we make sure. But obviously, if you're coming from Hawaii, there ain't nothing to get unless you're a dog with heartworms.
Hawaii is rabies free. 100%, zero rabies.
Yeah.
And they also don't have
Yeah.
snakes. There's no snakes in Hawaii. But they do have a little,
It's a blind worm.
yeah, it's a blind worm. They call it a snake. It's the same, it's smaller than an earthworm.
Yeah, and it
I was like,
slithers
that's not a
sideways.
snake.
It's blind. Yeah, they
So what
have,
kind of weird stuff do they have then if they don't have those?
Mongoose. They have
Yes.
those all over the place.
yeah, they have mongoose over there.
You'd want to pet it.
Probably.
If you catch it,
If it breathes, I want to touch it.
Oh, lots and lots of chickens.
yes,
Lots of chickens.
everywhere.
I guess there was well, they're saying that it was a hurricane that brought it over from Maui, and the hurricane brought all the chickens over, like, I guess, flying over. I don't know. I don't know how hurricanes bring.
All they have
chickens.
to do, you get 5 chickens to lay eggs. Yeah, 5 more chickens.
Yeah. I was telling this, well, you guys might know this, and I'm not sure if it's true, but I told it to him like I knew what I was talking about. And I said, even if you have a body of water and there's no fish in it whatsoever, as soon as a duck lands, it's from what I've read, been told, I don't know if it's real. Maybe you guys can agree with it and make it look like I knew what I was talking about.
Tell
but
them it's wrong.
the fish eggs that are in the water of the body of water from where the duck came from would get on the duck, and as the duck goes to the new body of water,
That's possible.
sounds right to me.
I think you're wrong.
Thanks. Anyway,
I have to pick on him.
that's fine.
Y'all sound like a married couple.
I'll
I
allow
know.
it. Permission granted.
Okay, it's a good thing we're on video and the cameras are on.
Oh, outside? Oh, I see. Talking about birds.
She's just flying high over there, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
That's some funny stuff. I was going to ask you guys something else. I had it all planned, and I forgot what it was this morning.
Well, I'll tell you what. While you're thinking about that, do you want me to get something that we have for them?
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. I think
earlier-
there's 2 of them.
Yeah, earlier we were
Okay.
talking, and we said, hey, let's save this for the podcast.
Yeah.
We were talking about if you guys have a business card or a logo, and I have created one, and I made this for you guys so that you guys can.
We can't hear
Proudly.
you. You're not in the mic.
Sorry,
Okay.
made this for you guys. You guys can proudly display this, and I don't know if you like the design, but go ahead and take a look. So we came up with that. On one half, it is the tame version of the animal, and on the other half, it's wild. So you got like dog on one side, bear.
Let me
on
tell
the-
you this.
Yeah,
Tame is all the animals we take.
yeah.
Wild thing is me. But
But-
I like it. Thank
True
you.
story.
Yeah. So I can
Look at that,
I can
that's
make you
cute.
guys another one, or
Yep.
if you guys like that. I think we had a different design on the first one.
Yeah, I think it's the one with the and right there. So we've got that.
Yeah.
And then the business cards will have the rehab and
Yeah.
the
Did you take a picture of the business card?
rehabilitation.
You took a
don't
picture on your
remember.
phone, didn't you?
I don't remember if I took that or not.
I think so. Do you have your phone?
No.
No. Okay.
I think she sent it to me actually.
Oh, did I send it to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
The card. Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe I did. Yeah.
So-
that way, again, you guys are helping us out, and you help so many animals and so many people,
Yeah, I
the families that
appreciate
get to adopt these animals to love them unconditionally. So if I know Tim and I can help you guys at least to get your name out there, and not for people, you're a good place for the animals to come to get rescued and rehabilitated, but for people to, help out with the donations, because those are so important.
Yeah.
You can't help these animals out if you don't have the food, if you don't have the beds, if you don't have the shampoo, if you don't have a lot of that stuff, the collars, just the small stuff that they don't think about.
Right.
So if we can help you at least somewhere along with that, we will do that.
Yeah.
We are also he just ordered some vinyl. We'll make you guys some bumper stickers
Cool. Thank
like
you.
that.
That's awesome.
And we'll talk about that when we're not right here on how that can be done. So, but yeah, we're gonna at least get there somehow. And then
Our number one goal always
it's the animals.
is education.
That's huge.
Educating the public on every resource available,
Yeah.
you know, because prevention is key.
I think prevention would have, well, I'm kind of glad she's where she's at, but unfortunately I'm sad that she had to go through.
Right.
She still has her moments where she looks sad in her face, but eventually she'll wake up and never have that sad look. I think she just does it now to try to get away with something.
I was about to say it's definitely okay to pity them first and love them, but they're living in the moment, and so should you. For
So that's the one thing I'm really good at is I've never let her. I haven't done that. Oh, it's okay. You can. I've always. This is the rules. This is how it's going to be. You get to have a couch to sleep on because our other one does, but you don't get to eat table scraps. You don't get to eat table food. You have to eat dog food.
Dogs strive off of structure, and clear communication and repetitive things. You know,
Probably
boundaries are very good to have.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that's why she's stuck attached to my hip, because she learned first day that I was definitely alpha in the house. So.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be that type of structure because, like what I mentioned earlier with Omega, there was no structure.
Yeah.
They just let him take over. They had no boundaries for him, you know. They treated them like babies, and there's a way to treat them like babies with structure in place.
Yes. You can love them and spoil them at the same time, making sure they have good indoor house manners for a dog. So she's doing really well, and she's coming really far. She's super smart, like just on it. Just a few days. No, ma'am. That's how she knows I'm serious, is when I say no, ma'am, and she's all like, oops, yeah. Ma'am is the key word for her. So, and I'm teaching her hug, because we had another dog who would hug. But it's only supposed to be when we tell her to. So I'll be all hug. She'll jump up and kiss. We'll bump noses.
Yeah.
I'm teaching her that. So, I mean, there's a few fun things that we're teaching her. So I'm not, sit is going to be the tough one because of her reaction when you go to touch her, her back and push her butt down. That's when she cowers and pees on herself. So I'm going to have to give her a little bit of time. We're going to have to work through that.
I can help you with that.
I know you can. I know you can. I know she's just been through so much. And, the trying to figure out, like, she still covers food up. You can tell she was outside for a while. Yeah, she still covers the food up.
Becoming a food hoarder, yeah.
Well,
covered it up and...
She covers, I don't think it's so much she's covering the food for her. She's covering the food for Cobain. Because she'll also, when he doesn't know to uncover his food, he's blind. He doesn't even know it's there, but it will be uncovered. So I think she's taking care of Cobain. I think she's cut on that he can't see. So she's doing that. So she's learning other things, but yeah, we got to teach her sit and stay, because she likes to plow over Cobain when they come in the door. I'm all like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. What's up, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what kind of jewelry rabbits wear?
Is this one of your dad jokes?
Oh, you should have known. No.
14 karat gold.
Ba-dum-bum.
So funny. Hey, what's your weird word of the day?
That's what I was just going to get to. I would like for you to pick a number. I've got a total of 856 words that are my favorites. So any number between 1 and 856.
I'm trying to remember all the ones that you have picked already. I listened to your all's podcast.
So it doesn't matter which number. I'll pick one. I've only got like 5 of them that are marked off. So the odds of you getting one of those.
Yeah.
I'll just get the one next to it if it's not. But
200.
Straight 200. All right.
He was at the end.
Yeah, I was at the end.
He was expecting you to call the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, all the time. Like,
Oh, this is kind of a neat
2.
word.
200.
I got to copy it because I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Try.
right.
Try before you look it up.
It's a dactylogram. Dactylogram. That's all I got. I don't know. Dactylogram. Let's see what it says.
Did you show him those words?
I was right.
I did show him.
All right, dactylogram. A fingerprint. Dactylogram.
Okay.
So if you need to get your dactylograms.
I'm using fingerprint. Thank you.
Why didn't it have something that's like phalanges or something?
I know.
like that?
Why that was the most boring definition to a word. If they're gonna have a big word, they need to have.
Do you know? Did you hear my favorite word? Do you know what my favorite word is?
Yeah, but now that you asked me, I don't
No,
know.
you can't remember. Did you hear it? Defenestrate? Do you know what that means? I'm gonna use it in a sentence. I can't.
It's one that you made up, right?
No, this is here.
Because I was listening to that one the other day.
No, it's there. It's a real word. Defenestrate means to throw someone or something out of a window. Wow.
I like that word.
And most people are like, when are you ever going to say that? And I'm like, trust me, if you've got kids and they hear the words throw out the window, if you're going down the road and you're like, I hope he doesn't throw this out the window. As soon as you hear,
they're throwing it out the window.
They're throwing it out the window. Yes.
Out it goes.
It's like a dare almost.
Yeah.
Especially if they were our kids.
Dactylogram.
They'll always do
All right.
something to prove you wrong. Oh, my God. Oh, no, my kid wouldn't do that. There he is doing it.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
My 30-year-old's still
like a dog.
doing it.
No, he would never bite you.
I hear that all the time. You know, people are like,
didn't you tell me?
My dog would never bite you. And I got one. I have this video I took of this guy. He's got, I think there's a black German Shepherd, a regular colored German Shepherd. If am I allowed to say that? Is that? I gotta be careful. Am I allowed to say that now? I don't
Edit
get
that.
in trouble.
Please edit that. Oh, my God. I'm just kidding.
I'm sweating bullets.
Regular.
The brown and black German Shepherd, and they have 2 other dogs as well. So they're 4 dogs, and we're talking hair straight up, just, and they're just, pulling at the chain link fencing, and the owners are like, oh no, they would never bite you. I'm like, I don't believe you. Not at all.
Sure.
Not at all. Nope. Not at all. So yeah, that's the only dog that I don't trust, and I will absolutely get on somebody's car if those dogs get loose.
I'm a shepherd person.
You can go over there and tell me if you think they're going to be friendly. I think that they want the inside of my bone marrow.
So those are
Probably.
just those German Shepherds. That is his favorite dog is the Shepherd.
Yeah.
That's it. If he were to ever get a dog he went out, bought a purebred, that would be the German Shepherd. That's his. My dog that I am afraid of, and that's every one of is a Doberman Pinscher. The reason being is because when I was little, I had just gotten a brand new outfit that my grandpa got me. And we had friends that had 2 Doberman Pinschers, and she just had puppies. My mom and I were walking down the middle of the road in front of this house. Like, we weren't even near this house. Actually, my mom was in front of me in the middle of the road, and I was walking behind because I knew the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And she came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. They are, every female that has a baby will kill for them.
Oh, I know. So
including you.
So this ghetto booty that I got, a Doberman Pinscher biting a hold of it. I don't like Doberman Pinschers. They are the only dog that I'm afraid of. Any other dog, I'll go straight up to.
Just because you have one bad experience.
My sister has one. I will never go over to her house. Like, I don't even like the min pins.
Because they look like them?
Because they look like them.
The mini devil.
And I know those min pins are going to bite worse than the big ones because those mini dogs are freaking scary.
They got little teeth, little sharp teeth.
Little teeth. I mean, I will. I'm all about getting over my fear of something. So
I did scare her.
I wish we would have known them whenever we had the girl that we took to your cousin.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a doll. She's the.
I did scare her the first time I got bit by a dog. I told her, I was like, it finally happened. I got bit by a dog. And I send her this picture of this tiny puppy, barely touching my
nibbling
like
on your
I was
fingers.
just like, oh, I love you, and I'm like, I got bit by a dog.
Bleep, Pat.
Of course, she was like, oh my God, what happened? You know, she's like, bubbles are popping up. She's like, and I was like, and then she sees the picture. She's like,
You should have sent the picture first.
no.
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 I was saying.
No.
I was.
Oh my God, are you okay? Are you gonna die?
I'm like, oh my God, are you okay?
I actually had an incident that was, I'm never gonna forget this. I had I'm delivering mail and I'm walking around, and most of the dogs in the neighborhood, I know who they are and where they live, and I'm walking through this one neighborhood and I saw this dog and I was like, I know you. You're definitely not supposed to be out. You're supposed to be in your house. And this dog followed me, and it was just like right up next to me, like it was my friend, and we were delivering mail together. And I was like, okay, well, you have to go home. So I was getting to a point where, yes, yeah. I went, instead of crossing the road to loop back around, I kept on going so I could go to the person's house. And I went to the person's house, knocked on the door.
But you might want to give a disclaimer that this is going to be a disclaimer.
Well,
Disclaimer.
spoiler alert, there's bad news. So I go to deliver, or I'm going to this person's house, and I ring the bell, knock on the door, or whatever, and they answer, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, is this your dog? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, well, can you get it? Because I got to finish doing my job, and your dog's going to follow me. And if it follows me, I'm parked way over in this other area. And if I get in my car, your dog's probably going to be like, well, now where do I go? And I don't know how far dogs can make their way home. I know that there's been stories of, I moved from Alaska to Florida and it followed me all the way. It's like, okay, well, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So this guy was trying to get his dog, and it was just running around playing, and it was trying to have fun. And I was like, no. And the dog's like, yes. And I was like, okay, well. So he's like, I got to get my socks and shoes on or whatever. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to head back over. And so I walked back over, and the dog's like, okay, we're good. He said we're fine, right? And so I'm like, So I go up the stairs. All the houses that I deliver mail to have the box on the house. It's not out by the road, so it's a walk route. So I'm walking, and I go up this person's stairs, and as I'm going up the stairs, and I put the mail in the box, I turn to the right, and I look, and I don't see the dog anymore. And so I start going down the stairs, and I'm like, where in the heck is that dog? It turned out the dog went behind me on my left side, and as I turned to the right, it stayed up there, and I was looking around. So apparently the dog had found a cat. I did not know this. There were no noises of either animal. They were like facing off, and I didn't know it. And I got all the way to the bottom step, and I was like, where in the heck is that dog? I'm like, well, I guess the dog went home or something. And maybe the owner called it, and I didn't hear it, and it, whatever.
Right.
Then all of the sudden, the dog started going wild, and I heard a cat at the same time. I'm like, that's not normal. That's not the noise I expected to hear. It turns out the dog was attacking a cat that was up on that person's porch, and it was mauling that cat to death.
Right.
I couldn't stop it. I did everything I could. I was literally beating on this dog. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I knew that if this dog were to turn on to me, I would be in some pain. This was not a small dog. It was, I believe, either a Rottweiler or Pit Bull mix. It was a big, beefy dog, and it was a mama dog. And it would not let go, and it was just locked into this cat. And it was, the sound the cat was making was just horrifying. It was the worst thing I can ever recall. And I was trying to get it off, and I was making all kinds of noise. The person that lived there was home and heard all this noise and was like, what's going on? Came out and was trying to help me get the dog off of the cat. And she was taking just a chair that just happened to be there. And, of course, hitting me with the chair, not the dog, because we're all moving around in the commotion and everything, and she's trying to hit the dog, and I think she got the dog a couple times, but dog was not letting go.
Yeah.
That dog.
So I want to offer some guidance for next time something like that happens.
I hope it never does.
Right.
Keep water in your pocket. Anytime you touch a dog, you're reinforcing that behavior of whatever it's in, whether it's a negative or positive touch, it's reinforcing whatever behavior it's displaying at that time. So by touching that animal or hitting it or whatever that you were trying to do, you're reinforcing. It's making him feel bigger. It's making him feel like the cat's attacking more, so he's going to get more aggressive. Like you're there backing him up, you know, and if you're yelling, if you're screaming, you know, that's you growling, that's you trying to be more aggressive, you know. Okay. Wow. So in those situations, if you can, obviously you can pick up the back legs and wheelbarrow swing. Right. If there's room. But the absolute best thing to do is pour water in their face. Well, because, you know,
listen, and you might get
cops
mad.
need to be known that too.
Yeah.
I tried using the spray that they give us.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Yeah, the citronella, the mace or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes if you got to make sure you shake.
Oh yeah, I half can. It did not move, but it definitely worked after the dog was done. After the dog realized it had neutralized the threat. Right. The dog went into the grass and was rolling around and just
cleaning his face off.
trying to get his. And then the owner shows up and is like, "What are you doing to my dog?" And I'm just like, "Oh my god, dude! This is." So it ended up. He took the cat and said he brought it to the vet. I don't know if he did or not, and we're pretty sure the cat had already expired before we even got to the.
Right.
And it was just. I mean, it was just. I'm never going to forget that. It's
traumatizing.
Every time I go to that house, I'm always going to think of that. And I was so upset with that. I wanted to find out if that was somebody's pet. And so I asked and asked and asked and asked. And for like 2 months, I was like, is this your cat? Is this your cat? Is this your cat?
Right.
I ended up finding out it was somebody's cat. And it was from another neighborhood that was lost or whatever. And they said, thank you for letting us know. And, you know, sorry. Yeah. I mean, it's all I could do. I mean, I couldn't do anything else. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't your fault that it happened.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
It was the gentleman who had the dog.
Yeah.
You don't have the option of putting socks and tennis shoes on. Put your flip-flops on. Your dog is loose.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was. And
run out barefoot.
I know.
You know how many times I've ran out barefoot and in my panties?
There's the wild part.
You know, like, I don't care. Like, if you're my neighbor, you're going to see me, like, half naked with no shoes on at some point.
Yeah.
Like me this morning at 28 degrees outside. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pajama bottoms on, no shirt.
Those midnight run out in the middle of the night in your underwear and it's cold, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So look, I've went trapping cats in my Ninja Turtle onesie.
Yes. Yes.
And my Batman onesie.
Wow.
Yes.
You got foodies and all?
Oh, yeah.
Flap on the back, too.
Oh, yeah, the butt flap. Yeah. Oh, my God. Those are the best thing to wear in the winter. Yeah. If you're out there, like, trapping and nobody's, like, open, you can't use the bathroom, like, I guess my ass is getting cold.
Yeah. Those were...
Nothing else will be, though.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
That is.
That's like those old cartoons. Mm-hmm. They had I don't know what car. It's probably, what was it? You know, like the Sylvester and Tweety or Bugs Bunny. Yeah, it was probably a Bugs Bunny one.
Yeah, he's the hunter. I can't remember what his name is.
Elmer
Fudd.
Yeah.
Is it Elmer Fudd? Yeah.
Do
you remember, what was the other, I was going to say something about, because we were talking about cats. Do you remember the cat on, I can't remember the name of the show, but the cat's name was Wordsworth. You remember that show? It was a white cat, had skates on, and it would have like headphones. Mm-hmm. And it was.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I think
it might have been Garfield. Let me look this up. I can't remember if it was Garfield or what it was. I'll get it in a second here.
I don't think it was Garfield. The only ones I remember on Garfield is Garfield and his little girlfriend.
Yeah.
And Odie.
Yeah, of course, the dog.
Well, I found the cat right away, but
Can't find what
Wordsworth.
show it's from.
Oh, Heathcliff.
Heathcliff.
It's
Yeah.
from Heathcliff.
Yeah, it was before my time. Y'all are old as dirt. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow! Shot fired.
Yeah.
You were saying earlier about, I was going to tell this to you. I don't know if you know this. Obviously, education is important for people. And one of the sayings, phrases that I've told people, and it's kind of a, well, duh, but you don't know what you don't know.
Well,
And
yeah.
it just kind of makes sense. And I've heard this statistic before. 16% of the U.S. population is below 85% IQ. 16%. That's a lot of dumb people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dumb people.
Uneducated.
It's uneducated, and that's what they were talking about. It's not that they're not smart. It's
Right.
with the school
But
and COVID.
there's some that
You're
are
only
just
I know there are.
dumb.
Or you only know what
Yeah.
you're taught.
There
Right.
are some. I mean, there's some in my family that unfortunately the smart stick.
Yeah. Well, like, sometimes I explain this to people. In the rescue world, everything to us rescuers, is common sense.
It's common. Yeah.
Okay, but like some people, it's like throwing an encyclopedia at them and they've never seen a dictionary. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's stuff that you would expect somebody to know because we've done it for so long.
Yeah.
But people outside of the rescue world have no idea what's going on, no idea of the resources, no idea that it's a problem, until it affects them.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
course,
Yeah.
So education is always number one. Prevention is number two,
Ask for help when you need it.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Yeah,
big things.
don't be afraid of being embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or
You're going to be
You
more
know.
embarrassed when you're looking at facing a charge because something worse has happened.
right.
Well, and like I said, every puppy's cute. So,
Oh,
or
yeah.
every kitten's cute. So you want that little kitten or that little puppy, especially if you're a first time pet owner.
Right.
And you go pick out that cute little puppy or that cute little kitten. You have no idea.
Yes.
You know,
Please
you may have
research
raised
every
one,
breed of
but-
dog that you're interested in.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
just because it's cute.
Yeah. you
Because
have
not
to-
everybody can handle alligators
Yeah.
or Great Danes because, they get close to 200 pounds or any other Mastiff breeds or
But they're so
You
cute
know,
when they're
just-
puppies.
everything's
Oh,
cute
yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
babies.
Everything's
except for pugs.
cute.
And then you got a 200-pound Great Dane that's eating a 50-pound bag of dog food a day.
Yeah,
And
a
now I
day,
can't afford
literally. That's how much they eat.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
had one named Falcor. He thought he was a lap dog.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yep, but he was the sweetest dog in the world. He would lean up against
You
my
said a
baby
day, a
sister
week.
Yeah.
and go like this, boom, and she'd just fall.
yeah.
He couldn't understand
like-
why his leaning pole just fell.
Yeah, I just really urge people to research before you get something.
You guys have a Great Dane that you're looking for a foster for right now, aren't you? Or have you found one?
And owner surrender, we do not have her yet. She
Okay.
is still with her owner, but she is becoming frantic.
Okay.
She's a purebred Great Dane. She does have the cropped ears. She's the fawn with a white mask. She's a great dog. She's just going through her teeny bopper stage, She just had her first heat, and she's learning pack status,
In her eyes, she's alpha.
She's what we call terrible twos in kids. She's going through some behavioral issues that can be easily worked out.
Some of us never
but-
outgrow that.
Right.
Right?
It's just a man thing.
Oh, okay.
Not me though, But yeah, so she's
talk later.
good with cats and other dogs and stuff. She's just being bratty to some, pushing buttons. She just needs structure. The lady that has her has like 6 dogs, and she works long hours. And when she's getting home, she's trying to exercise them and she's trying to do this and trying to do that, but she doesn't have the knowledge, the education, or the time to deal with it.
That's important. I was going to ask. That brings up a good question. So for people that work a lot, is there a particular animal, if they want to have an animal, is there a certain type of animal that you would suggest for
Definitely
people with
never
no
a
kids?
puppy.
Never a puppy. Yeah.
Never a puppy.
No.
Right.
No.
You know, I would definitely just go to different rescues and say, look, this is my hours. This is my, what I have energy for.
Right.
And if you have any dogs that fit that.
And you're going to also
probably
have
gonna be
dogs
an
that
older
are
dog.
they need to be able to get
Yeah.
outside and run. And,
Right. Yeah.
what's,
I mean, every situation is not breed specific. There's
Right.
always exceptions. Like, I have a pit bull that could be lazy as crap all day long, every single day, as long as you play with them for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
I've had other pit bulls that will go 90 miles an hour all day long, every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like,
Wow.
it differs within the breeds. Obviously, if you have a Malinois, they are bred to go, 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 go.
Right.
Very rarely would you have one that's just chill and
yeah.
relaxed and like, yeah. But, like a lot of people don't think certain breeds are lazy, but they are, or
and
vice
that's where
versa.
the person with the dog comes in factor, because even if the dog typically is something that's outside, go, 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 and the person isn't,
Right.
would you say that there's a high likeliness of, would you say the I'm not going to pronounce
Malinois.
it.
We call them Malingators.
Yeah. If you had one of those, and it bonded well with the person, and the person was just real laid back, that dog would possibly
fail.
be laid back.
It would
fail.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Majorly.
there are some that are just like, look, don't do this.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
and that's part of our adoption process with the application.
Right.
We're gonna match what your lifestyle is
Right.
with the dogs that we have that we know. Hey, if you
Yeah.
want a laid back dog, you're a laid back person, maybe an older person.
Okay. Yeah.
We're not going to give you a young one that's full of energy.
Right.
What we got. You got an application the other day about one that we have, and we're like, no, it's probably not a good fit.
Yeah.
So we're trying to think of a new one.
It was a older lady. She said that, how old was she?
65,
She was like, she was 65, but she was still really active. Her health was great, stuff. And she applied for our 1-year-old standard poodle. And I'm like, listen, I don't care how active you are at now. Like, in 10 years, what are you going to be? In 10 years, that poodle is still going to be like he's 1 year old.
They
you know?
never calm down.
So, and also, like, she has a Yorkie and a cat, which he's great with all dogs. But what he needs is another big dog. He needs that companionship for confidence.
Right.
For one, because he was feral when we got him. For two, if you guys know poodles, they're very one person, but they have lots of energy. They're very smart. They can be escape artists. If they get bored and start becoming bad habit,
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm sorry, he's just not the right fit. I was like, if you want to answer some more questions, fill out our application, have a phone interview. I'm sure we do have something here that would fit for you. And if not, I can contact other rescues to see if they have one that would be good for the scenario.
Right.
And she was like, okay, well, I like the way that you put that, So she went and filled out the application. She answered, she elaborated on the questions that were not just yes or no, And we actually have a meet and greet set up. She's going to meet 2 of our other dogs next
Wonderful.
week.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
I like that.
yeah.
And it's not.
That's a good story.
It's not just a matter of if she likes the poodle,
Right.
it's just not the one that we have. That's just not a good fit.
Right.
Not saying that another poodle wouldn't be a good fit.
Right.
But
Right.
the one that we
Yeah.
have that we've advertised, that's on Pet Finder, that's not a good fit. So we take that into consideration too. It's not just we're trying to move this poodle out
Right.
the door.
Because
what I
you
mean?
don't want to
Yeah.
No.
end up having to take it back.
Right.
It's
so
important
glad.
to find a forever
even
home.
if it wasn't even if it was a good fit now, like 10 years down the
Right.
road when the dog is 10
Right.
and she's on her deathbed, then that's removing a senior dog
And having
from
to
the
find-
only life
to
that it ever
really-
remembered
Yeah.
or had, and trying to replace it. I don't want that for him.
And
I don't want that for
like
any
older
of them.
dogs. Yeah. Do you
like-
find, is it easy for you to find homes for the older dogs, or do you kind of struggle more with those?
Honestly, age really isn't a factor because you have all kinds of age,
Nice.
adopters. The hardest thing to place is a pit bull. Even though I believe,
A black pit bull.
a black pit bull especially.
Really?
I believe most of the pit bulls that we have are the best dogs that we get in. But you have BSL, which is breed specific legislation. You have people that are afraid of them because they don't know them. You have renters and people that like the insurances, even if you own your house, if they find out you have a pit bull, they will drop your insurance.
There ain't nobody telling me what kind of dog I can have in my own
It's
home.
like
Certain
HOAs.
insurances have breed
Go ahead and
specific.
Yeah, no.
They do.
Like those HOAs, like if you want to go live on I'm sure Doe Valley, they've got,
they
it's all
probably have a
HOA,
restriction
you
over
can't have
there.
this. You want to change your oil? No, you can't do,
Right.
you can't do anything to your car. You got to have this size, whatever. You can't put this
You can't
big of
sit
a
in your
building.
driveway.
Yeah, it can't. Yeah.
It's gotta
God
be in your
forbid you sit
garage.
on your porch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we always check to make sure if you own your home, what insurance you have. And then if you do rent, we always talk to the landowners and
That's good.
and get written consent.
That is phenomenal because, again, that's probably the scenario.
A lot of
that
people like to
happened.
lie.
Yeah.
Oh, we own our home.
Let me ask
Well,
you a
then
question.
show me your
though.
mortgage statement.
So,
Right.
yeah, let me ask you a question about like the difference between service animal and emotional support animal. What's your views on those?
Oh, that is very different. Emotional support does not have to have any training.
Right.
It just has to be existing. To where
Yeah.
a true full-on service dog does
She
have
needs
to go through training and
You want me to put her out?
get certified or
We could take a break here in a minute after she's done.
Okay, yeah.
they have to
Oh, careful.
achieve accomplishments to be in public.
Yeah.
Emotional support animals are not supposed to go in public. They're just meant to be at home with
People take advantage of that.
Oh yes, big time.
I remember seeing something at the vet's office, and it said, and it was like, these are things you can and cannot ask, and it's super limited. Like I only recall one thing that you can ask a person in regards to a service animal, and that's what service does the dog perform.
You're not even allowed to ask them that, actually.
What? So how are you supposed to help?
What do you mean? In what aspect?
Like if a service dog is coming up to you, usually that means there's something wrong with the owner. And
so
follow
normally,
the
if
dog.
you have a service dog, that service dog has paperwork
Right.
in their pockets of their
Oh, okay.
service. Also on their tags, they usually have medical alert. Also, the person that needs that medical alerted,
Right.
for the dog to medical alert, will have bracelet on.
Do you know some of the things that they have for the dogs? Like what things do dogs do?
Like
Service dogs.
this actual services. I mean, that could be
Yes.
anything from leading the blind to the like insulin drops and raises for diabetics, seizure alerts. They can literally
Yeah.
detect anything. Most dogs can decipher over 300 smells at one time and
Wow.
pick out the one that they're trained to smell. Like if you give this dog a pill, it can smell anything and everything that was put in that pill.
Wow.
Now bloodhounds and other types of hounds that have the big huge snout, they can decipher over 600 at one time. That's why, like with search and rescue, I used to work search and rescue. Any bloodhound, no matter what, can search for a lost person, unless it's been trained in bite work.
Oh, okay.
Like whether it's been certified or not. Just because if you give that dog a smell, they're gonna find it.
Mark Rober did a video on trying to trick a dog, and he was like, "No, this dog's gonna win every time."
Yeah, you can't.
It's
can't
crazy.
really trick a dog.
Yeah.
He's like tried to go through the river. Nah, didn't work.
No, so that's a common misconception. Water actually concentrates
Makes it worse.
your scent. You know, like you go through it and you're wet, and then you take steps.
You're leaving
Great.
it even more
You're
saturated.
leaving more scent because, like, if you're going like this,
I think he even got in the car and
you're
drove off. And
losing-
it's still.
Yeah, you're losing those dry flakes. But what happens to your skin when it gets wet? You could literally feel it rub off.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, so it actually concentrates the smell. And obviously, like if you go through the river up here and the river's going this way, they can smell anything in that water up, you know,
Yeah.
from
Hi.
this point, anything and everything that's been in the water
Yeah.
above the flow.
You want-
They go
There's
through.
Macy
Shall we take a
Gray.
break?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna take a break, folks.
Yep. She's got to go to the bathroom. Oh,
Yeah.
where's my mouse?
Probably got to click it. All right, we're back. Had to take a little break, folks. So, where were we? We were talking about service dogs and how they're differences between service and emotional. And there's no requirement for emotional. And they're usually just for being at home, yeah?
Yes. I mean, there are things that you can train your emotional support dog to do, you know, like, but unless it's an extreme thing medical wise that they are doing for you, you can't claim it as a service dog.
Yeah.
It's just an emotional support.
And there's not really anything anybody can do about people fraudulently claiming that, is there?
Yeah, no, not really, unless, you know, they can find proof. It really sucks that people, you know, misuse those things, because the people that do need the service dogs, you know, it's ruining a lot of access for them.
Right.
Like you're not allowed to ask for the paperwork, you know, from their doctor or,
Right.
you know, proof that it is a true service dog.
Is there anything that you can ask that you know?
You can certainly ask any question you want, but they don't have to respond.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
If they don't have any. Okay, unmuted.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, and I just took a quick break. If they don't have anything to hide, they'll be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's when they are like, I don't have to answer, is when you know that they're being.
Yeah.
kinda
But
shitty.
I mean, like walking up to somebody that truly needs a service dog, it's like, hey, why do you not have a foot? Or like, what happened to you? Or, you know, and that's kind of
Yeah,
rude.
that's very
a lot of
rude.
traumatic things happen to people, you know, and they just don't want to talk about it.
Majority of them are retired servicemen as well.
Right.
Right.
And a lot of them do need service dogs. And I've had a couple friends who have service dogs, and they are not retired military. Right. You know, they've had other, you know, mental, they have severe anxiety and stuff like that. Like my best friend, she has severe anxiety. It's gotten so bad, it's hard for her to leave her house. And I told her it might be that time for you. And maybe it's something with the pup. Hopefully her pups will be smart enough. I think they will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a fine line between emotional support and service.
Yeah.
Because I know several people that need emotional support animal, you know, and they do provide deep pressure therapy and, you know, can bring people out of mental breakdowns and stuff. Which to me, that is a service dog, but it's the training.
Yeah.
That they have for what they are supposed to do.
Yeah, they get trained to watch for different things like blood pressure, heart rate, and stuff like that when someone is from what I gather anyway, that's kind of what they check for is, they're listening to what your insides are telling.
Well, I mean,
and sense, of course.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, like how much dogs can smell. I mean, they can smell everything in our body, like whether it's cancer, chemical changes from our emotions, like literally everything. But there are certain things that they have to be trained on to be in public. And emotional support animals are not trained for public access. So,
is there some place around here that trains?
There's several different programs. You can actually train them yourself, but there's guidelines and tests that they have to pass through professionals, to get certificates to prove that they've done it.
Yeah.
But there are several programs. You just have to Google it, where can I, like service dog training near me, and there'll be different options. When you're trying to research any type of training, you want to be very thorough. You want people that have specialized in the training that you need.
You don't want it to be some scam. Yeah, I'll train your dog.
There's so many different types of training. There's scent training. There's obedience training. There's bite training. There's, drug training. There's just so many. And just because they specialize in one doesn't mean they know how to do it in the other.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a dog open up the fridge and get a beer for somebody. So that's some pretty specialized training right there.
Yeah.
That would be what you'd want your dog trained to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Most all service dogs are trained in retrieval, especially for like medications, the phone, their purses or
cane,
whatever.
Oh,
cane,
yeah, that makes sense.
There's a lot of the retrieval things that you train service dogs to do.
How young do they have to be to get them into training is there like a certain age where it's more successful?
Yeah, the old adage, can't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Oh, trust me, we can.
Nice. She was looking at you for that one.
Yeah. However, I mean, obviously, the younger the better, but we have actually sent dogs that are 1 or 2 years old that have great natural instincts to react to things and retrieve things and stuff. And it really depends on their personality. I mean, you can train a puppy from day one and they still flunk out of service dog training because one reason or another. Like we took in a pit bull that was trained in literally everything and he mastered it. I mean, there was not one thing that you could not get this dog to do, but he was a social butterfly.
Oh, so he wanted to say hi.
He would do everything in private like this.
But he got
as soon as there was somebody else or another dog or cat, he just wanted to go say hi. He was just like, ooh, hey, like, look what I can do. And that failed him because
you got somebody excited now.
I know, because of my...
She's all like, who is that? Who is that that wants to be so friendly?
Different tones are definitely...
Careful with the mic.
That probably would be her if she were to get trained. She'd see somebody.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely a social butterfly.
Yeah, she really is. And I'm glad she is.
But yeah, like I said, you can train a puppy from day one, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna excel at it. You can take. I personally don't like to do it when they're puppies, because when they're puppies, you gotta let them be puppies. You gotta socialize them. That's the main thing. Socialize them. Two different things.
It's kind of when their personalities develop to kind of steer them in there.
My most favorite time to train a dog is between 6 and 9 months. That's when they're developing their personality. That's when they're trying to get away with things. That's when they make their perception of the world pretty much. But that doesn't say that you can't take a 1 or 2 year old to go to training and stuff, because they're already through the crazy puppy havoc stage, and the terrible twos is what we call it. As long as they've had a pretty decent puppyhood and have a natural act for it, all you got to do is reward them, and they learn pretty quickly. So, I mean, obviously you don't want to take a 5-year-old dog.
Yeah.
And try to train it specifically for a lot of things. But the younger, the better in most aspects.
That's kind of like you got to let a kid be a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before you can expect it, to turn into adulthood. So.
Yeah. Like,
makes sense.
But for your aspect of the business, don't discount older pets. They still need homes too. They absolutely need.
We're talking about the special,
right? Just
emotional,
special service dog training and stuff. Yeah.
Have you guys seen what's that Maine Coon cat?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever gotten one?
No.
They're huge, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but they're just gentle giants.
People aren't going to turn those in. Someone's spending that money. Sorry, babe.
There is actual rescues that are specifically for Maine Coons.
Yeah, he wants one.
Yeah. I don't think our property's big enough.
That cat would eat our dogs. No, we've been looking at one. We can't. We'll have to wait a few years.
Yeah, Luis Sanchez comes first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yes. One bird at a time.
That would be cool. Chad, tell us a little bit about your naval history. I know we need to get you on the mic a little bit. Tell us about what you did in the Navy.
Well, I was a structural mechanic, and worked on my first 4 years. I was in a training squadron, which we simulated the Russians. We were actually a training squadron. So what we did was we flew A3s and A7 aircraft, which the A3s were a Korean War airplane, and the A7s were a Vietnam War airplane. So the A3s were a much bigger airplane, and what we do is go out and fly over the ocean and train the carriers or whatever ships were out there. You tuck an A7 under each wing, and then they would peel off and act as missiles.
Oh, okay.
So the ship would have to react in the event of a Russian attack, back during the Cold War.
Dang.
So it was kind of primitive, but yet it was advanced because they had these pods on them that were infrared type of pods. They would have chaff that they would throw out.
Yeah.
Kind of try and throw off the radar and things like that from the ship. So, but I was a mechanic on those. I went to school for it down in Key West, Florida, which was specific for the A3s.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice. It was during spring break of, 1989? Yeah. So, had a good time down there, but went from Key West, Florida to Point Mugu, California. Yep.
Wow. One end to the other.
Yeah. Yeah. It was when they said you join the Navy, you see the world. But unfortunately, my first 4 years was sea duty, but I never saw a ship. So I don't know how many sailors can say that, but
right.
We flew everywhere. So we would do detachments to Puerto Rico, to Miramar, California, down where Top Gun was filmed.
Nice.
We actually got to see the Top Gun hangar. It was
cool. Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
Took a Air Force truck down to the border of Tijuana and got in trouble.
Constructive training, or some training.
Somebody stole the Air Force truck and drove it across the border and then couldn't get back.
Oops.
Yeah, and then we went on a couple detachments to Hawaii, Puerto Rico, which was all from California. So it's kind of cool. Spent 8 years out in California.
Did you ever do a Space A flight?
Yeah, actually.
I tried. It's a process.
We actually, a fun one that I had was later in my naval career, I say, but I didn't re-enlist for another 4 years. I just extended.
Okay.
Because when I first signed up, it was for 4 years, and then you're 3 years inactive after.
Right.
So it was right at the start of the Gulf War, actually Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I didn't want to run the risk of getting out and then getting called back.
Okay.
So I figured I'd just serve my inactive time as active. That would give me some more time.
Right.
So it ended up being about 7.5 years.
Yeah.
But that last 3 years, I was in the composite shop, and I was supervisor in that, which was kind of cool because we repaired the carbon graphite, fiberglass, Kevlar, aircraft parts. And a buddy of mine that was in the same shop, he went to the Blue Angels.
Sweet.
So he was a mechanic for the Blue Angels and got to actually ride on Fat Albert when they did before they eliminated the JADO shot.
Yeah.
So you experience the weightlessness of Fat Albert when he goes
Vomit Comet.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So that was pretty cool, and that was a free ride, you know. And that was during an air show too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they had the air show come to Lemoore. That was after we moved to Lemoore, and but no, after that,
Explain what the Blue Angels is for those that don't know.
They are the acrobatic
Best of the best.
The best of the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that you see at like Thunder over Louisville and different things.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while they come to Thunder over Louisville. They do a lot of the air shows around the country. I actually went and saw them up in Dayton, Ohio when they were up there for their air show, which Dayton puts on a really good air show.
Nice.
If you've never seen the Dayton air show, you need to go.
I'll try and make it a point. It's not that far from here, so.
No, not really, yeah. But
Yeah.
so that was pretty much my naval career. I mean, I could tell you stories for hours, but
Well, a lot of that sounds a lot more exciting than me resetting passwords and bringing paper to printers.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's.
yeah, we had some fun though. We had some fun. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
So many years ago.
His job in Hawaii, he couldn't really talk about, so.
Yeah. Had the old lifetime NDA, so
Yeah.
big secret. But it was fun. I liked doing what I did.
You
And
couldn't hear me?
Yeah.
Oh.
I enjoyed. Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I was in almost 13 years and medically retired, so.
Can you hear me now?
I'm out. I can hear you. Yeah. Oh, all right.
I was calling my...
And then where exactly did you guys meet?
That's funny.
You can tell that story.
Oh God.
It's
One time in band camp. No, just kidding.
Yes.
Oh, disclaimer. All right.
Yes.
No, so actually, like I said, I was running the rescue far before we met. Him and his ex adopted a dog for me.
Wow.
Okay.
Which they had known my family for quite some time, and I knew them in passing. And we re-met at a bar one night. And he was with his motorcycle club. He was passing out barrels to
for the toy run.
for the toy
nice.
run,
Yeah.
for Christmas for kids and stuff for Meade County. And we just ran into each other and just started talking, He's like, hey, you just want to travel with me and drop the rest of these barrels off and stuff. And, we did some catching up. We hadn't seen him for 5 years, something like that. And he told me his relationship wasn't going so great. And I was like, well, let me know when it ends.
He called you the next day, didn't he?
You know what? He did. Literally the next day, he was like, dude, she's gone.
Yeah.
Like,
gave him that reason that he'd been looking for, it sounds like.
Listen, I am not a home wrecker. I was like, yeah, you just let me know when that's over. And
Well,
when we can talk. And then it was the next day.
It's just the way it
And then
is.
I never left.
Yeah. Sometimes, given that reason, that's just...
Before that, we had never even talked or made googly eyes or anything. It was like, hey, what's up, Chad?
Yep.
What have y'all been up to? Never even thought it was possible until
That's
we
usually
just hang
what
out
happens.
one night and passed out barrels for kids,
Nice.
And
That's
now
a
look
good
at us.
story.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Did Rainbow tell you how we met or how we connected?
It's in a podcast.
I was about to say, I've listened to the podcast, but he hasn't. He hadn't had time to. Literally just sprung all this on him.
Surprise, you're coming
so
over.
go ahead, yeah. For
Happy
anybody
birthday.
that hasn't
Hey, by the
listened.
way,
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
There's tacos and
Well,
Yeah.
he knows me, so
Right.
now he should feel comfortable because he knows me.
Listen, he can be the most socially awkward person sometimes. And he's like, new people. But he was like, oh, it's for the rescue? Okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah.
yep.
Yep. He used to help load up a whole bunch of beer and whiskey and vodka and lots of beer and lots of beer. Like
And more beer.
And more beer. Yeah. Twice a year coming in. It's for the club. Big order put in.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, her and I met in Hawaii, and I think we had exchanged connection online somehow. I
Yeah.
can't remember how. And then,
Yeah, we met online-ish.
yeah, that was okay, and there wasn't anything wrong with that. And then, because I had to go to Hawaii, I had to quarantine our dog at the animal shelter or animal quarantine station.
I remember this story now that you're
Yeah. So it's a minimum. I think it's supposed to be 90 days, but because I did actually do some of the prep work on the mainland here before I got out there, I ended up doing 30 days of animal
quarantine.
quarantine. Thank you. Brain turned off for a second. She would volunteer at the animal shelter, just kind of hanging out. Hey. And she would hang out with our dog, Jake, and she became friends with Jake. And then when we talked with the online and over the phone or whatnot, I had told her, oh, yeah, I got a dog over there. And she's like, really? What's your dog's name? I was like, it's Jake. She's like, really?
No way.
So it was the same one. She would hang out with.
I was
Sorry, guys.
was there the day that Jake came in, and he was terrified.
Oh, he was so scared.
He was so scared. So I got in his kennel and got down, and I sat down on the ground while he sat in my lap for like 45 minutes to an hour, shaking. So needless to say, when the first time him and I met, our dog ran to me first
Yep.
instead of him.
That's cool.
Yep, but
But our dog brought us together,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
and the dog that we have, well, the other dog that we have now also
It's a rescue.
is a rescue.
Yep.
And yeah.
Liza's a rescue.
Yep.
Luna
Luna's
is a transplant rescue.
Yep.
We have a son. Him and his wife came up here. He lived in a bedroom for, I don't know, a couple years, I guess, when they left, he's not going. He's staying. So
Yep. It just
Yep.
worked out that way. And
we rescued each other, and we rescued our animals.
yep.
Things happen for a reason.
It's one of those things, you know, I get on the route and I see animals a lot, and I see a lot of cats.
You're going to
not
start
too
calling
many.
me, aren't you?
So we actually want
Okay, so
to
I got
buy-
52.
We actually I think we've come to a pretty much decided decision. We're going to sell our house at some point and buy it out in the country. We want to start a shelter, but we want to do something like a homeless shelter where they can have their animals. That's a really, I think, a big thing for both the animals and the homeless, because you're fixing to separate them both. And so we want to do that, but coincide with, you know, they got to be rescued together. But I think we want to kind of work on that at some point. So
You know, that's another thing that we've done with, remember the one in E-Town? The people that were homeless.
Yes.
We had to go get their dog.
So Hardin County just now started a program where when people that are homeless have to go to the shelter, Hardin County will find a foster for the animals so they can keep them.
Like a temporary.
Yeah, like temporarily keep them.
I hope that's on video. I hope they showed up. That's all I can say. I hope we get to. Hope that's
Bradicus.
there.
But they had just started the program, and they didn't have any fosters really lined up for an emergency situation. So, like, what was it, about 2 months ago?
Yeah.
When it was really cold.
It was really cold.
Like ice and snow and stuff outside. The shelter allowed somebody to come, but they had a puppy, and the shelter got them a cage and stuff like that, like stuff to enclose the cage, but couldn't let them inside, their puppy inside. So they like did the best that they could to cover up this cage for this dog, and they were trying to get the shelter to take it while the shelter was full. They had tried to reach out through the homeless program that they literally just started to try to find a foster, to no end. So this poor puppy was stuck in a crate outside in the cold weather, and I get a message from somebody from Focus, which is the Friends of Hardin County animal shelter, saying, look, I know you're full, but is there any way? I was like, I don't care how full I am. I'm going to get that puppy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And we went down there, and we were like, you know, usually we provide 30 days, but from what I learned, 30 days wasn't going to be long enough for them to get back on their feet and stuff. So I had them, you know, go ahead and surrender her, because I didn't want her to just sit and wait and wait and wait and wait. You know, we don't have the funds to vet and keep dogs. The whole point is to get them, vet them, and rehome them. So if it's 30 days, I'll be glad to put whatever money into the animal that I need to make sure it goes back to the home that really loves them. But if it's going to take you more than 30 days, I'm sorry, I can't make that dog suffer that long, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
And so we ended up finding a foster that night. We were out, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, my.
We went down
Wow.
about 1 o'clock in the morning. And this was only literally like 2 hours after I got the message. And then we went, and it was a new foster, but he had known her prior to, so we didn't have to go through like the whole process of checking this person out, because we knew him. Yeah. But we still went to her house, like, because she was going to meet us up there at the shelter. And I said, nope, like, he knows you, but I don't. And I'm going to check your house out first. And I'm going to check and make sure this dog that you have is going to get along with the puppy. But yeah, we didn't end up getting home till like 4 a.m. And he had to work the next morning.
No.
I thought you had to work the next morning.
I think so.
Well, if he did, he called in sick.
Yeah, like I don't remember what day it was.
Sometimes things are more important. I mean, I know work and bills are, but there's just sometimes humanity is losing its humanity right now.
You guys are doing a lot for the voices that don't have a voice. In
really, we're
cats and
doing
dogs.
too much.
You are, but
know,
I don't.
It is so hard to juggle the rescue and everything involved with it, and family, and time for myself. You know, let alone time for us. But that's why we're here. You know, we want to bring awareness. You know, that we need help. Everybody needs help. We need fosters. We need adopters. We need you to spay and neuter your animals. Yeah. You know, the ultimate goal is for us to not have to exist in the rescue world anymore.
Right.
You know?
Ideally.
Yeah. But we want to do what we can. Hopefully this message gets out to as many people as possible. Please, if there's any way you can donate or help or buy something, it doesn't have to be much. It can be something very small. Every little bit helps. Help these people, help the animals that are part of everybody's lives. Everybody that has a pet, if you've ever had a pet, you know the suffering that these animals are going through.
And as a foster, I want to say, like, we provide everything that you need. All we need you to do is have time to spend and love on them. You know, spend time and love on them, and, you know, train them if you know how to. And,
right.
You know, help us get them more adoptable. But as far as supplies and medical and everything else, we provide all of that. So you don't ever lose money.
I know. I was shocked
by
when I'm all
fostering.
like, I don't understand why we're getting help when we said that we would adopt
Right.
her, but I know we definitely appreciate it.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, or it's for the animals.
Yeah, it's for her.
Would we like to have an endless supply of dog food or cat food? Absolutely. But none of that goes to us. It's for the animals. It's not
Right.
Yeah.
And like she said, it's like we can't do it without anybody else. We can't do it without the followers, without
Without the
our
support,
donators,
without the
without our
fosters.
supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys listening
It's
out
a
there,
whole village.
you're our last help.
Yeah.
You're the ones that are going to bring food to these animals. You're going to bring supplies, what these people need.
And supplies at paper towels,
Yeah.
laundry detergent,
Yeah.
shampoo.
Things you don't even think about.
Yeah,
I was
towls,
just like,
rags, just stuff like that you don't think about. That
Yeah, it's
stuff
not
that they
just the
need.
food.
Yeah.
right, there's so
Yeah.
much.
And then
I know.
we get some there in that have stomach issues, or so they take a special type of dog food or cat food. Some of them need more medications. Vitamins, stuff
Wow,
like that.
yeah.
If we, God forbid, we get another batch of puppies that needs milk replacer, and
yeah.
bottle fed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, even if you can't foster, like, donate, foster, educate, share our posts,
Yeah.
volunteer, come take one of our dogs out on a pup date.
Heck yeah.
Like, there's so many things that you can do. If you can't foster, you can transport,
Oh yeah.
You can-
Yeah.
Yep.
There's so many things. So, like, if you want to help but you don't know how,
reach out.
ask.
Yeah, there's-
and we can
ask,
give you
yeah.
a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I know we'll post. I'll have you send all the information. I'll actually see if I can attach it to this before. Yes, you guys just all heard me say that. Attach it to this. That way it's there. But if not, we'll somehow get it posted so it's there. That way, hopefully you'll get. I've made the decision. I'm gonna put a link on my Facebook for people. I have a lot of friends on there, so they go back to my childhood. So
Oh, we appreciate that because we could use all the help we could get.
I'm telling you, you don't, just from being someone on this end and going through this right here, I know I appreciate you. I know she appreciates it because I know she's confused. She needs to be as comfortable as she can. And yes, there's Luna, who is he's a lush. He used to not be like that. And he'll meow, and then he'll do that. And then he'll swat at you. He doesn't have front claws.
What's your opinion on that? I know that there's a lot of people that are vehemently against those of us that declaw, but
Yeah.
we
had to do it because of
sugar gliders.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it because we love all of our animals.
So if you haven't noticed, when you declaw, it creates other bad behaviors. If it's not done 100% right, it can cause front feet sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
It can cause them to bite more instead of claw.
Right.
It's basically like removing their first knuckle. Like,
We know.
I'm not 100% against it, but it is in our contract that you are never to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
There's just
Okay.
so many more risks with it.
Right.
Than there are pros to it.
Yeah.
We do get in declawed cats, so
Yeah.
we will hold them for people that definitely need them not to have claws.
Right.
they're also inside cats. They do not go outside.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's another reason. And he's always been on me like that even before
Right.
we had him. So
Well,
that-
I'm not saying in 100%
Right,
of the cases, like it can be
and this
beneficial.
might be another
as
reason why
long
he's
as
like
it's-
that. Sorry.
Right.
Yes, I'm picking on him while we're on air.
Oh, okay.
This is
No,
a
that's-
pet friendly podcast today. So
You're
Right.
petting our
yes.
pet?
Yeah, yeah. It's a pet friendly one, so we're
Right.
gonna have our animals here.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaking of having animals here, we could do pet of the week or pet
Yes.
of the podcast. For ones that need to be adopted.
Yes, we actually want to do that, and I know we could do that today if you have a couple in mind.
Well, I didn't bring any printouts or pictures, but
Yeah, we'll actually,
Okay,
because
we'll
that's
start
one thing
doing
we have
that.
to do.
Start that on
There's
the
some
website or
logistics
something.
involved
Yeah.
on getting the computer to do what
And
we want.
him and I already discussed that, believe that or not. We discussed it right after we got her, and we discussed having you guys. So just so you're aware, once you said you were going to help us out, him and I agreed we wanted to have you guys on the show.
No.
Because this is, it's a give back situation. We have to.
Right.
Again, I'm all about this world's going to shit in a handbasket. Bleep in a handbasket. Okay. Anyway, I told you.
Well, we're about the community,
Yeah.
and it's not just
Yeah.
people; it's pets as well.
It's
Right.
our fur
You know.
babies. It's our fur babies, and I've been an animal lover since I, had my first dog in diapers, and so we'll get those on there. But that's the one thing him and I discussed is we wanted to have the pets of the week for
Awesome.
you guys, that way we can help go through there. So we'll
Yeah,
do
my
that.
goal is to get the picture of the pet so that they are, true. I'm not trying to misrepresent a pet if it's looks super adorable and it's just
Right.
hell on wheels.
Right.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm
we'll
doing.
have all the logistics and
Yeah.
have all the temperament stuff. That way people know.
Right.
Yep.
Maybe we'll have an older one and a younger one of each, both cat and dog. That way there's, that way they kind
Let me ask this: is there any website that you would suggest people go to research for specific info on cats or dogs?
Not any specific website. I mean, you can Google it. Don't believe everything that you read, though. Definitely it's like going to the doctor, get a second opinion.
Right.
Not every trainer is the same. Not every animal is the same. Not every, perspective is the
Right.
same. So don't just go to one website.
And it's
go
not-
to multiple.
Right. Like I've read websites where they tell you the likely, it's got like 1 through 5 stars on whether the dog is super active or it barks a lot or it digs a lot or, whatever the trait or characteristic of the dog is.
Right.
And, there's some dogs like Cobain is part Rhodesian Ridgeback, and those are very quiet, mellow dogs. And whatever else he is, he's also quiet and mellow. And, well, that's what the one website said. It looks like
the other one says
I
he
read
should be
one that was a
really
lie.
loud and
Rhodesian
rambunctious.
Ridgebacks are actually trained to be hunters.
Yes, they hunt
they're
lions.
lion hunters. He
Yes,
actually has
so
a
they
lion costume.
have big attitudes.
Well, he doesn't.
He's part greyhound.
Yeah.
Which greyhounds are very active. Like if you think
Well, he got the other end of that
Yeah,
stick.
I
they
think it
like
was,
outside greyhounds can be like on a scale of 100, like 100. Like they will
Yeah.
dig to China, they will run,
Oh, he used to run. Yeah, before he went
but
blind.
in the house they're like
I actually have from our security cameras. The reason Cobain, we believe, is blind is he was running around the yard with another dog, and
He had a play date.
He was playing, and when he ran, he hit the tree.
Yeah.
Full speed.
He was looking like this.
Yeah, and it hit. It was
And
just.
about the
It was.
time that he hit. And
Yeah.
the truck was only
So-
this big.
It's painful to watch.
yeah.
And it hit. And
I had a
it's-
similar instance whenever I told you earlier that we trained and worked search and rescue dogs. My shepherd, at about 6 years old, we were doing a night search and she ran smack dab into a tree. And like a week before that, she was acting really weird and it was like out of character. And I was like, what is going on with my dog?
You said a week before.
Yeah, like a week before she ran into the tree on the night search. Apparently she had a degenerative problem with her eye and her retina detached. And she was panicking because it was all of a sudden. And so for a week, like my dog was acting weird and I didn't know what was going on. And we were just doing that night search. She ran smack dab into a tree, freaked out and came whining and crying to me. And I was like, okay, yeah, something's really wrong. And so when she was a service dog, an active service dog, we always got some things like eye exams and stuff like that for free because we were providing a service for the community. So we had went to LVSES, which is a Louisville specialty vet in the East End. It's actually part of Kentucky Humane Society. I think they own it. But went and got her eyes checked and found out that her retina had just completely detached.
Oh, my.
Literally for no reason, because I know, like, for a fact she had never went through any trauma or whatever to her face or whatnot. And they chalked it up to having a degenerative eye issue. And she still worked after that, though. Because, like, it was like after I found out and knew what was wrong with her, I made some adjustments,
Did they end up having to take the eye? Did they leave
it? No, it never got to a point where it had too much or too less or cataract-y or, it never bothered her. It's just she couldn't see out of it.
Okay.
Not until she was like 14, and then it was changing colors and stuff, but it never got to the point where I had to take it out.
Okay.
But yeah, she lived till 15 and a half.
Wow.
And I had to send her off to doggy heaven, but she was fantastic.
You know what I do? I don't. I do for people on my route that have lost animals is I have a copy of the Rainbow Bridge poem that I have printed out.
Yeah.
That's his. Yep, he's had to give a few of those out.
Yeah.
Yep.
He cries every time he has to as well. I think it might be spicy over there on his side of the desk right now.
I had a lady that was she was waiting for the animal control to come and take her pet. She was just I'm delivering the mail and I see her and I I've talked to her a few times and I came up to her and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And just tears.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat with her. I was like, I'm going to sit here with you.
Yeah.
So I know she was just tore up. That's her life. And so, I feel bad.
It wasn't just a dog to her.
No, it was her companion. Mm-hmm. And so that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. He's the sniffling mailman. That's why I love him. He's a good guy. Nope, we needed that cough to break the moment.
Yeah.
There you go. One more hack, it'll all be good.
Leak going on over here. I don't know what's going on.
Guy.
No,
he has his moments.
Yeah, there's been a few animal situations, but that's that always gets me when I see someone that's their love.
Yeah.
And I know what that's like. So anytime I know someone loses an animal, that's part of their life. So
a lot of people in this world love pets way more than people.
It's because when they talk back, you can't really understand what they're saying.
Right.
You can tell them to go lay down, and they will, and they still love you 2 seconds later.
The old joke is if you want to know if your wife or your dog loves you more, put them both in the trunk, wait 45 minutes, and open it up, see which one's happy to see you, right?
That's right.
Rude.
She said she would still love me, so she said she'd be mad at me. And,
I'd still love him.
I believe her.
I'd probably hit you with a shovel. You should never, ever try that.
There's something in there. He's probably going to get
Just make sure you take the
face.
tire iron out.
Ooh, yeah. Dang.
That's funny.
That's pretty funny stuff.
Well, should we wrap things up? This is kind of a long one.
I know. It was a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I think this is a good one.
Thank you guys for coming
Yes.
out. I appreciate you guys coming out. Everything that you guys do, you know, because if you didn't do it, I don't know if anyone else would, but, we need more people like you. We need people to help you guys so that we can all help each other. We can help people that have pets, people that want pets.
Yes.
Again, say the name of organization?
Tame and Wild Things Rescue and Rehabilitation Center.
And your website? Or you don't?
We don't have a website,
right.
Yeah. But you can find me, my personal page, and follow me and friend me. It's Christina M. Keller.
She's going to have to come over and hang out with me so I can get her fixed up with the...
Right
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
It won't take very long to do, so you'll have to...
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate y'all for having us.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
glad you guys came.
You're welcome.
Definitely.
So he's glad
Love
you
it.
came because I made my Mexican pot roast.
And it was delicious, too, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
You definitely
guys.
had me at tacos.
I know, that's so funny. Would have been even greater if you wore your shirt. I love tacos.
Yeah, I totally would, but
Yeah.
I thought this was...
What's it say?
What you got?
Can you read it?
I just want some.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that my dog or
Yes.
something?
And rescue dogs.
Yeah,
I rescue dogs.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice.
Coffee and dogs.
Well, I have the coffee. I guess I do have a rescue dog, so...
Right on.
Awesome. Perfect.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. You can check us out on theloudertales.com or go to our YouTube page, or we are also on Spotify if you're listening to us there. And thanks for listening. And my wife will press some buttons now, and we will all go off into the
Abyss.
abyss.
Yes. Till next time.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Bye, guys.
We hope you enjoyed today's show, and thanks for listening to the Louder Tales podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.